my kids, and I couldn't see what I got real bad, and I had to sleep again that night, and I started panicking, and I didn't know what to do. I honestly don't remember what I was thinking. I was not going through it, everything was deathly quiet. There's a couple of seconds past in my head, but yes, I went through it. Hello. This is bothering him quite a bit. He needs to get this off his just he's been wrestling with this for a while. I think part of it is drug induced, part of it was alcohol induced, and part of it is he just doesn't understand what he did. Hello. Basically, the cleaning uses their
Yeah, we are. Just didn't hit record. I said, we just didn't hit record. No, we just didn't hit record. Yeah, yeah.
Kathy LaBelle here.
Fraser, what's the chances you have the host key? The host key. Yeah, I want to be remote. I want to be down there.
I talk to you too.
You started the recording. All right, we're recording. That's too much. Sharif, we have Mr. Chairman, thank you from the ballot. Excuse me. Okay, so, it was not. And then, well. She's fine. Is there any board member here? Is there any board member here who does not know to read? If you board member and you have not shown your face to me or Sharif, especially as you see it, I put face to me. Go on. I'm coming. I'm gonna stop. We're starting you when I'm telling me. We're good to go. All right. Good evening. Wow, that was loud. So I'm saying hello, good afternoon. I believe the recording has started. And to all of you, and I'm probably gonna have to reiterate it a few times. Because today's first meeting, it is going to be very long. So I'm telling everyone, so that we are fully aware. First meetings are always long because you get back to the beginning of the year. So I am going to get started immediately. Okay, the time is now, is that 7:03? The time is now 7:03 p.m. My name is Roger Daly. I am the chair of Community Board 17, and as such, I am calling this year's meeting, September 2023 meeting to order. And if I had a gavel, the meeting is now called to order. All right. My report. I feel like I'm gonna have to repeat some of this later, but I'm gonna do it again. And there's always gonna be that one person who's gonna say that I didn't know that. So I'm going to start off first of all with welcome back to fiscal year 23. Is it just me or is it loud? Is it just me or is it loud back there? It's loud, right? Is it loud enough or too loud? Loud enough? Okay, then just leave it. Just double check to make sure no other mics are on. All right, so greetings to all and welcome back to fiscal year 23-24. Since we last met in June of this annual year, right, many things have happened over that time. So we're really excited about some of the stuff. First and foremost, I want to give it up for, everybody who had the block party. Unfortunately, I was not able to make to as many of those social gatherings as I wanted to. But congratulations to those people who had the block party. And if you didn't, make sure you plan to have one next year on your block. Also recognize Dr. Renaud. Dr. Renaud, please stand. Please stand, Dr. Renaud. Don't be bashful. I want everybody to give her a nice round of applause. Her block was named the block, right? The greenest block in Brooklyn. Thank you. And right here in Community Board 17. There will be some new faces on the board that were appointed in April. Some of them, whatever the miscommunications were through virtual or not virtual, whatever the cases that they didn't know, they thought they years, we don't care what the reasons were. What we do know is that we want to applaud them. So if you are a new board member and today is your first physical meeting, please stand. If you're a new board member, today is your first physical meeting, raise your hand. Please stand. Thank you. You need something, sir? Okay, thank you. What's your name? Leonard Benson. I didn't know that. I just wanted you to say that out loud. We also have a couple of new chairs. Each year, as a chair of the board, I get to appoint chairs based upon whatever the reasons are, and that will continue. Those chairs will what we call the committee reports. You know who they are. We had a number of summer events this year, a number of meetings, all related to the board. The biggest one, which our transportation chair will discuss, is regarding what's going on with the bike lanes, car share, and the bike racks. I think my email, the district manager Frazier, by the way, district manager Frazier, please stand so everybody see who you are. And stand and be recognized. Everybody, if you don't know Cherie, right? She is the person, she is the person. All right. So the biggest one was the DOT meeting. Our new appointed chair of Transportation Public Safety will be going over that meeting as well. And I think we'll also get some update if her office comes in, Assembly Member Rodney Bichat's office also, to give even further on that update. I was able, thank goodness, to visit a few schools. The issues are the same. After school, double park, right, and money, right, and budget cuts. One particular school, our chair, Grandison, will discuss that visit to that site as well, okay? Unfortunately, our previously newly hired ADM, Carlene Murray Garden, did not make it through her probationary period. So we will be, thus we will be looking for a new ADM, so that posting will be going up. Actually, it's in the back. So you know somebody who's interested in the posting, please do let us know, this follow the application process, which is there and it's going to be online as well. So if you're looking for, again, for a position, we're also looking to our community assistant, Carol Barton, is also no longer at the board. She has retired and what's going to do in terms of the replacement, our district manager Frazier will discuss that. Committees. So I'm saying, please note, while I ask all committee chairs to put their meeting notices in two places, right? I also want to hold the community members responsible as well. Don't let them feel like they're wasting their time. So one, it's going to be on the website. Two, we're asking for it to be printed in the back for you to read it as well. So they're going to do that. Again, we can't ask to leave earlier and then we do things to make it longer, right? It doesn't work both ways. I've also asked our chairs to do the best they can to put events on the night of their meeting. Secondly, so I'm going to do less and less approval of events that's going to overlap and overburden the community board members and the community as well. What does that mean? That means that we want you as a community to be more involved at the committee level, as well as at the board, which brings me to my next point. I am going to minimize debate on the floor. Debates are done at the committee level. I will only look at one or two or three tops conversation on the floor. So things like questions that people ask, what's the address of this business? Right? What time are you open? Those questions are answered at the board level. I mean, at the committee level. So that's just, to me, I mean, I don't mind it being asked, but I don't want it asked like every week, everybody asking every member this question. So let's minimize those things to avoid. Secondly, you will do Robert's rules. Robert's rules means that you have to be acknowledged to speak, and two, you can't speak all the time. So unfortunately, please do not take it anyway that if the chair says, or whoever is chairing, whatever that, and I said the chair, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about the chair. Whoever is chairing the meeting, if you've spoken once, please allow somebody else to speak before you make another comment. And second of all, try to limit your comments to that one time you speak, unless something else come up. Quick things that people need to understand in terms of Robert's rules. Resolution, right, is if you make a if you bring something to the floor, please have it printed. If it's not printed, then it cannot be this long. Like, for example, you want to make a motion on the floor. A motion is literally this long, 3 sentences. I make a motion that blah, 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 blah. It needs to be second, and then once it's second, it can be spoken to. So you cannot make a motion and second the motion. just very quickly. A resolution is something that comes from a group of people on the board, not from the outside, from on the board. So if you have something that you want a resolution to pass, you have to ask somebody on the board to bring it up and get a group of people. That does not need to be second. And that can be debated on the floor. Okay, so everybody understand. A motion is something, for example, I make a motion for a moment of silence for such and such. That takes, you say why, second, and we move on. Okay? If it's accepted or not accepted. And when you make a motion, by the way, it must be, you must state whether it's for this month's meeting or next month's meeting. Okay? We're not gonna go through much more procedures, but as you come up, we can discuss that. And the last conversations, sometimes we go into heated conversation. The treasurer, Lewis and I are opposite sides of the use of the mic. He doesn't want the mic. He wants to use voice. We go back and forth. But Mr. Daly, then Mr. Lewis, that's not how it works. He states his point. I would then be acknowledged by the chair. He gets acknowledged and we move on. But it's like when you're in court. You can't address each other, you address the court. Everybody, we clear? We good? All right, so let's move on. Again, welcome back. Next on our secretary is not here, right? Not yet. Please note, moving forward, the minutes will be. Oh, thank you. If you need to speak, you need to come to the mic. If there's a topic, please move forward to one of the mics in the middle section. You do not speak from the back. Also, obviously, if you have extenuating circumstances, we'll work with that. But if you are quite capable of walking the mic, please do so. Also, I lost track. Please note, agencies must come to the building to give their report. Agencies, and we're also asking for elected officials, offices to show up at the meeting and give their report. We will only recognize a few individuals online to give their report. So starting October, elected official offices, agencies, because if you did not get, was the notice sent out, Mr. President? Was the notice sent out to the elected officials and the agencies? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. That's fine, I just wondered if it was sent out already. So elected officials, offices, people who need to give report need to show up. Board members, please note, right, board members, please note that your attendance is not valid online. You still mark absent. So for all I didn't look back. I don't know if there are any board members online, but board members, please note that you must be physically present to be more present and to be part of the quorum. The minutes, moving forward, the minutes will be online. So we don't need to move the minutes in the meeting. The minutes will be online and as well as all transcript. So any transcript of any meeting, the only meetings that will not be online will be personal meetings that I hate to use the word sequester, sound like a jury, but if we go into executive where the general board, where the general public cannot be part of the meeting. Personnel, Executive Board, and General, and, the other one I just said. Those meetings will not be online, nor will people have access to those meetings, the general public. Okay, because there are sensitive matters that cannot be placed out there. Okay? Wow, he came in his vest. I wonder why he came in his vest today. Right, Officer Peel? All right, anything else? That's, okay. With that being said, let's move forward forward with our district manager's report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. And good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Wow, are you here? Good evening, everyone. Sounds a whole lot better. Welcome back. Welcome back. Trust you all had a great summer. We have a packed agenda, and I am sure other matters will come up during our any other business session. Therefore, I will make my report as brief and informative as I possibly can. As you know, I'm here to report on the activities of the board office, and that I will proceed to do. Closer to the end of our fiscal year in June, I spent a lot of my time working with various committees on their summer events, youth education, parks, beautification, commerce, etc. I'm sure that the chairpersons will give you an update. They were all successful events as we endeavor to regroup after the COVID pandemic. Due to the absence of staff personnel in the office, of course, I provided coverage to all of our summer events. Over the past months, I met with the chairperson of the board on numerous occasions and the personnel committee to discuss strategies on moving the board office forward and the role the office will continue to play in the process. I also met with the personnel committee and communications team as we progress the updating of our website and expand our list serve. So I encourage everyone here tonight and those that are attending virtually to visit the board website. It remains a work in progress, but we will continue to work to enhance our service to the community in general. I must commend our communications chair. She's not here tonight, but she has been working very hard on ensuring that the site is informative and getting your information back to the board's office. Ms. Tamara Thomas. Thank you for your work. You can visit our website at nyc.gov/BrooklynCB17 as we continue to update. And as I stated earlier, it remains a work in progress. The chair announced the retirement of Ms. Carol Barton. She submitted her retirement papers to the board effective September 11th. She is no longer employed by Community Board 17. As her supervisor, I take this opportunity to thank her for her many years of service, her contribution to the community, and her work with the various committees she provided coverage to over the years. At a later date, we will invite Ms. Barton and recognize her for her service to the board. And we certainly wish her all the best on her retirement. On the back table, we have a job posting for an assistant district manager position with Community Board 17. Candidates are encouraged to submit their resume to the board by email only. Hand-delivered resumes will not be accepted in the board's office. I would like to give you an update on our policy for the meeting minutes, as the chair stated. we are required to post the virtual meetings on the website. Therefore, if you are in need of meeting minutes, I encourage you to visit the board's website and view the recordings. And if you need any further update, you could contact the board's office. I'll be more than happy to assist. At our upcoming meetings, we will be voting on our capital and expense budget and the community needs statement. Please, please, community residents, we have the project recommendation forms on the table in the back. Kindly complete and submit by email, or you can hand deliver it to the board's office at 4112 Farragut Road. The forms are pretty much self-explanatory. As it pertains to our proposed location, the relocation of the board's office, there has been a change in location. We were scheduled to move to 350 Clarkson Avenue. Our new proposed location is now 1107 Rogers Avenue. We have more space and the convenience of hosting some of our planned community activities at that location. We have had several meetings with the Department of Citywide Administrative Services, and we will continue to keep the community updated as we await the signing of the lease and the build out of the space. That ends my brief report. Again, welcome. And if you have any questions, I'll take it at this time. And hearing none, I will yield the floor back to the chair of the board. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I didn't ask these two questions before. I forgot, my apologies. One, were there any questions from my report?
Is someone taking questions from the people on Zoom?
Can somebody monitor the online? Yes. Are there any questions from my report? Go ahead. Is somebody online from Zoom that has a question, just why I don't like Zoom?
You should love Zoom because
Okay.
everyone can't make it in person.
Are there any questions from the district manager's report? Okay, so one of the things that I'm gonna do this year a little bit differently, which I'm gonna get a lot of backlash for, but I'm gonna do it anyway. In the past, I know in the past, there's a difference between the elected official and the elected official's office. When the elected official, I will be allowing to interrupt the motion of the meeting to allow the elected official to speak. Why? Because as the elected official, they have a whole bunch of different community boards that they have to address, and unfortunately, they're not given enough time to come down from Albany, from DC, or even City Hall to address. So I am going to allow interrupt meeting, not necessarily immediately, but to allow them to speak outside of the order of legislative report. So I'm gonna ask elected officials when they come, do let me know when you're here. And B, please do not give legislative report as your report, if that makes sense, right? So if your office is here, please do not talk about the flyers in the back, but if you specifically want us to know something that you're working on in your office, and that's my level of compromise, so I don't get in trouble on both levels. Okay? I already see the eyes from a few board members already. So with that being said, I know that our assembly member, Rodney's Vashot, Hermelin is here, so I'm gonna give her 3 minutes to give her report from her office. Only elected official, not the member of their office. Please make sure that we're clear on that. Also, does anyone have candy? I hate to ask that out loud, but candy or gum or something like that? I have to ask. Please and thank you.
Good evening, Community Board 17, to the chair and the board, to all board members, our district manager, good evening. It's a pleasure to be here. I do have one clarification. Since I'm not supposed to talk about any legislative updates, will our offices be able to speak later on about stuff from the office?
Yes, please do not repeat information.
Okay, so
So
my
in other
office,
words-
my
In other words, I want to acknowledge the member for coming to the meeting and that, but I also don't want, my office has advised, those kind of things.
Okay, all right. Well, good evening, Community Board 17. Once again, I'm just so happy to be here in person, not on Zoom, and just to see everybody here participating. It's a pleasure to be here again. School is out. Albany is not in session, but just, again, really great. We did have our back to school programs, and we want to thank all of you who participated in our back to school event. And I want to let you know that our office is here for any resources or any help. We are located 1312 Flatbush Avenue and Foster. I know there's some voting that's happening later on today. I did want to, first of all, thank the Councilwoman Farah Lewis for champion Guyana Avenue. I know everybody's going to be voting on that, but I must say that as a proud child of immigrants, Haitian immigrants, I support us recognizing all corners, all cultures of this beautiful borough, this beautiful city, and I'm in full support of Guyana Avenue. And I really encourage everyone to support that. We just approved Trinidad and Tobago in Queens, and that's great. I hear Jamaica's coming up as well. So there's a lot of that's going on. We're very happy that Little Haiti happened, and Little Panama is also en route. So there's a lot to be proud of. But for me, it's personal because my son is part Guyanese, and yes, and so I would. US, they do that. And so it just would be great for him to grow up in this neighborhood and recognize places that he's from and really cherish the culture. So again, I'm in big support, especially with a large population of Guyanese here. So I encourage everyone to please support. Thank you. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the migrant crisis. I know many of you I don't know how you all feel about the migrant crisis, but I can tell you that we as legislators are in conversation with the mayor, the governor, as well as we're asking our congressional reps and our Senate reps to please collectively find ways to provide resources. As you know, it's projected that it will be $15 billion expenditure to house and shelter, okay, I have 1 minute, to shelter these migrants. We are putting in potential legislation to offer some type of state work permit. And I think that would be great because we want everybody to work. We want everybody to, participate in the tax-paying system. So, and lastly, I just wanted to say, and my office will talk a little bit about the DOT survey and Transportation Committee. Well, I just want to thank CB17, the chair, and the Transportation Committee for helping us organize the commissioner who came. They will talk a little bit more about it as we were addressing the bike share, the bike racks, the bike lanes, and all of that. And I think that was a good step forward. And I really want to thank the board for making that happen. Lastly, Domestic Violence Awareness Month is coming. We'll be having some information about that. And once again, thank you so much, Committee Board 17, for allowing me to speak. I'm Assembly Member Rodney B. Short Hermlin, represent the 42nd Assembly, Flatbush, Midwood, Ditmas Park, and want to thank you again. God bless.
Don't leave yet.
Okay.
I wanted to, first of all, thank you.
Mhm.
That meeting was hard, and also with the DOT, and I know that they're going to talk about this. I want to thank you for that, for making that happen through your office, as well as recognize, where's Dan? Dan, stand up for a second. Councilmember Farah Lewis's office, that he's been one of those persons with your office working through
Yes.
that. I want to follow up before you sit down. In terms of the migrants and the schools, right? And unfortunately, a lot of schools are losing individuals, but the migrants are coming in. I don't know if you can answer the question. I don't know, but if you can't, if you can bring that, maybe we could have somebody come back to answer that question. Because it does, what happens with our schools, right? As our schools are losing individuals, but they're migrants coming in, and the transient piece with the migrants. Have your office spoken about what that looks like for young people? Have you had that conversation with the mayor's office, what that looks like for young people coming into our schools and how, because a lot of things, our schools they're getting cuts. And this is an issue. So I'm just wondering has that been part of the conversation?
Right. So generally speaking, all resources are going to get cut. So it's not schools. First of all, because we are a shelter in place, right to shelter city, making us a sanctuary city, the migrants have a right to stay here, okay? And we have a right to shelter them. When we have children in our city, it is mandated that they're in school, okay? We just have to find ways of how, class sizes will increase as a result. We'll be fighting for more funding. And I think that's one of the things that the mayor has been trying to express, that we need federal funding. The governor is in a position where all the other counties are not necessarily shelter, right to shelter type sanctuary counties. So it's really hard to just kind of place people there. That's why we're trying to find ways to write legislation to allow these migrants spread throughout the state, because New York City is taking the brunt of a national crisis, let's be real. And the only way we'll be able to balance this is, again, if everybody have their fair share. It's not only like New York City, but we got to think about different neighborhoods, and we got to think about other cities. No other cities have been accepting the number of migrants that we have. We have already accepted over 113,000. And just like about a week ago, we embraced 3,000 migrants. So it's difficult. We understand that. We're asking everybody to be patient. It's an unprecedented, event or activity that's happening, or time. It is a crisis because we're scrambling, trying to find resources. School is one of them, to make sure that these people are also fed. These people are also sheltered. So we are working on that. And we're just hoping that everybody understand. I know it's very, very, very difficult, and we might be going back to Albany. I don't know if my colleague Brian Cunningham is here, but we might be going back to Albany to vote on some legislation that will allow for a work permit, as well as allowing the migrants to be in other counties. That way, the burden off of these students, these children, kind of, having oversaturated classes will be diminished and addressed.
All right. My first vice chair, I'm going to blame him because I don't want to take any credit for this blame. I want to know if there's anything else that you want the people to know coming out of your office,
Oh,
particularly legislative. But I don't want to take the blame. So I'm gonna blame him.
Well,
If any board member is upset with me, blame him. If you want to give me a legislative report, you can do
well,
it.
I think the main thing right now legislatively that we're considering in terms of going back is to address the migrant crisis, okay? That's the big thing. We are going to have, like I said, we're going to have a number of different programs rolling out. One is a Department of Transportation survey, just so you know, which will allow each and every one of you to put in your case, your 311 case or your DOT case. And we, in the same way that the commissioner and DOT had, well, we had their attention, they said specifically, Rodney's and all the other elected officials, we're going to work with you on all the issues as it relates to, not, in addition to bike stuff and bus lanes, but also speed bumps, street lights, paving and all of that stuff. So we want everybody to participate in such activities. Legislative stuff, I think the migrant stuff is the main thing.
And lastly, I didn't hear it update on the rec center.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Did we send out an email on the rec center? Yeah, okay, not today. So first of all, we're just really excited about the Shirley Chisholm Recreational Center. Again, Councilmember Farah Lewis has been leading the effort for years. Started with Jemani. Farah Lewis came and took over. I've partnered with Councilmember, and it's not up and running, but they started the groundbreaking. We are looking to have a community groundbreaking on October 16th, which is a Monday. We will have the commissioners there, the mayor, and so we're inviting everybody to come. We're also going to be launching our community advisory board, which will be a board of members of the community that will serve as surrogates to their extension of, organization or their institution. So we will have someone from Community Board 17, Community Board 14, the precinct council, the school principal, things like that. So we're going to be launching that out, and we're just really excited. Again, this is one of the first recreational center that the city is building ground up. Most of them has been rehab. It's going to have a state-of-the-art pool, indoor track, environmental, like green roof. We're going to have like incubator center, technology center. We're going to have a kitchen to, for like wellness, teaching wellness and stuff, for a commercial kitchen. It's going to be lots of activities for seniors, for young people. We're going to have a lot of different programming. And so we're just really excited because we do not have anything of our own, and it will help keep kids off the street, help reduce gun violence and all of that nature. It's supposed to be a positive thing. And I've been very heavily involved in terms of making sure that we have minority-owned businesses to participate in the contract. It's $141 million. We've had 2 expos. We're going to have another expos where we're inviting you, if you have an expertise like painting, electricity, carpentry, whatever, you can bid, be part of it, and you make money. We also make sure that the workforce is primarily coming from the people in the neighborhood to help build this recreational center. So we're really excited. So please, on your calendar, October 16th at 3 p.m., by Foster and Nostrand by the park, we will have our community groundbreaking, and we're very excited about that.
All right, thank you, so
Thank
much.
you.
I'll take two questions from the audience. Perfect, seeing none. Oh. The mic. I'm taking one more, so if, you gotta come. I'm only taking two, so you better make sure you get to the next mic, Keisha.
Whoever come to the mic.
Turn it on. You found it? Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Okay, and you?
Good.
Good. I just wanted to ask if there were any updates, especially as the community is now looking at 3 sites for the Interborough Express, and how you're going to help to organize the community about what we could actually ask for in the build out of that light rail.
We had one meeting where everybody was involved. I will be honest, I haven't been intricately involved in the Interborough Express. The last meeting we had was earlier this year. It was a Zoom, and there were people who were for it and against it because of the lanes and traffic, that many people will feel that it would be not good for traffic. But, they're still in talks in terms of the rollout, but we need it because we want to help move the city, move our Brooklynites. So I don't have particular any updates, but certainly by the next meeting, I can bring some updates for you on that.
Okay. We more like to be involved in the planning, especially as some communities are working on how they can make it expand to get more things that they actually need.
Say that again?
There are communities that are working on creating like development plans around it for housing and all other kinds of interests. So we want to see how we can get involved at this stage while they're doing an environmental review. So we're not behind the ball.
I agree.
Opportunities.
I completely
So
agree.
you can connect our offices to get.
Yes, let's connect the office and then let's get involved. And, even like with even the projects, any projects that's happening, we certainly want to be ahead. We want the community to be part of it. That's why we built the community advisory board for the recreational center, so that people can have input and be aware of what's going on. So to your point, yes, definitely. And I thank you for that question.
All right, Ms. Keisha? Oh, I'm sorry. That was the question just for the records. Please state your name.
Allison Martinez, co-founder, Brooklyn Level Up.
State your name.
A pleasant good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Keisha Sidney. I'm Community Outreach for Sesame Flyers. And the question I wanted to ask, I know you touched a bit about the immigration status, for the asylum people that's coming in. What I want to know is anything else being added to that for the other undocumented workers that we do have in our neighborhoods? That they're trying to find a living for themselves. They have kids also going to school. Would anything be implemented for them, being that they've been here for so long?
Well, it depends. So most of the people who's been here for so long that's undocumented have some type of status. You have DACA, which are those who came in 16 or younger. That's considered a status, and they're protected. You have those on TPS, like the Haitians, they were granted TPS, those who's been here after the earthquake and it was renewed, they have status. So they're kind of protected. All the other, I guess, undocumented groups, they are still, again, this is a sanctuary city, okay? They are included in terms of getting resources, shelter, and so forth. So the city is not turning their back on those who were here before, okay? The burden is on all of us, whether we're documented or undocumented, as it relates to services, because we have to, we're on thin ice, right? And we just need more money. We have more mouths to feed. So as a result of that, that's why, we're asking for help, because we're going to have some budget cuts. So just because you were here before doesn't mean that the city is ignoring you, okay? the channels that many of the undocumented people typically go for, the asylum seekers, or they're looking for some type of work visa, or they're looking to get qualified through a family member, whether it's through marriage, a sibling, a parent, or even a child who has turned 21, that is still in effect. A lot of the immigration lawyers right now feel that they are stressed because there's a backlog of cases for a lot of these undocumented residents, our families, So COVID, and this preceded this crisis, this flux of migrants coming here. So the flux of migrants coming here just adds on to the backlog. But the backlog predated this whole thing. So I don't want people to feel that, the migrants are coming here and then, now, we're not even being looked at as undocumented immigrants. That's not true. That those issues predated backlogs, immigration courts, all of that. That's been there before.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you, Assembly Member.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And my staff here, Charlene Harold, if you guys need if you have any other questions, she is here. And thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, thank you. Say hello to the little one. Committee reports. Budget. Can I ask also the executive members to try to make your way, to save us at least 10, 15 seconds in between person to make your way down? Budget followed by commerce.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to a new year. The Budget Committee, by the way, I'm Asher Cunningham, and I'm the chair of the Budget Committee as well as the first vice chair. Budget, as Ms. Frazier has mentioned, the process has begun. We've already started the process from earlier this year. Ms. Frazier indicated that there are forms at the back of the room where we are collecting the capital and expense request. And again, those requests are projects that you want to see around the community. That could be many things. It could be maybe schools that you want to build, many different projects that you are thinking about implementing around the community. You can use those forms at the back of the room to input the projects that you would like to see. Again, the process will be completed next month. We'll be conducting a vote on the capital expense budget process. And so therefore your responses within this process is needed at this time. So please, before you leave this meeting, take a form and submit your responses so we could input them into the capital expense process. And there ends my report.
Thank you so much. Commerce.
Good evening, everyone. My name is June Prasad. I'm the Chair of Commerce Committee and Acting Second Vice Chair. The name of the committee is Commerce. The date of the meeting is the third Tuesday of every month. Our upcoming events or ideas so far, Business Expo, Farmers Market, Business Networking Breakfast, and Sumptuous Sample. Guest speaker for the next meeting is Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce. Tonight, we have 4 applications to process. If you would like to join the Commerce Committee or any other committee, applications can be done online at the CB17 website. That ends my report. I also have to give you an update on the move since I was appointed by the chair to be the point contact. The location is 1107 Rogers Avenue, corner of Clarendon Road. We had a meeting with DCAS regarding the security aspect of the location, which means key card, cameras, etc. We are waiting on a quote for those services to see if it fits within our budget. If not, we'll have to resort back to lock and keys. That ends my both report. Are there any questions? Hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. The hospitality committee, as the last bylaws meeting, was subsumed by the social services, although Dr. Goldberg doesn't know it yet, but the chair of the, huh? No, I'm saying, although he doesn't know it yet, the chair of the social services is still looking at you to, help with the hospitality. So I'm just telling you up front, so you know that. Say hi anyway. Youth and education, Nasir, I saw her. Followed by housing is not here. No, followed by land use.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gail Grandison, and I am the chair of the Youth and Education Committee. I want to welcome you, the new members, and welcome back the older members after this short summer we had. Our first meeting was held on September 13th. It was a very lively conversation, but you can go on the website and get the minutes and watch the Zoom recording. During the summer, we had our Youth Happening event at Partagate Park. I just want to give some thank yous and appreciations to all our daycare centers and summer camps that came out. The Lions Club, East Flatbush Village, the God Squad, Sesame Flyers, and NYPD. Our elected officials, Councilwoman Farah Lewis's office, Councilwoman Rita Joseph, Assembly Member Monique Waterman, and Senator Roxanne Persaud for their contributions or just being there in the park with us. I want to thank my committee members and donors, Ms. McCain Brown, Ms. Mickles, Ms. Swaby, Ms. Saunders, Ms. Hudson, Ms. Carmen, who gave us a really great book donation, Ms. Tuxon, Shaggy from S&H Kitchens, Ms. Graham, Ms. Thomas, and the staff of Community Board 17, Ms. Fraser and Ms. Lyons. Couldn't do this without you. Also, Brooklyn Level Up and Ms. Allison Martinez. Our next meeting, one other thing the chair was talking about earlier. We visited PS 135. They welcome back to school session. It was really great. A lot of cuteness in the schoolyard. Really great event. And one of our issues, we've been hearing this, that our schools are facing is low enrollment, right? Because they're saying that a lot of the students, especially in the lower grades, K to third or fourth, have moved out of the neighborhood. So with the low enrollment, it means that those schools are going to face budget cuts. And this has nothing to do with the 5% cut that the mayor is talking about across the board in regards to the asylum seekers issue. This is going to be addition upon that. So they're going to lose their money. So I'm asking you to help us at our next meeting, which is going to be on October 11th at 7:30 p.m. To come to the meeting, help us strategize ways to assist our schools with enrollment, funding, and sustainability with their programs. Thank you.
Thank you so much. When is your meeting again, ma'am? October 11th, second Wednesday? Second Wednesday, thank you. Land use, followed by Parks and Beautification.
Good. All right. Good evening, everyone. On September 7th, the Land Use Committee convened its first meeting for this fiscal year. In attendance, we had representatives from a recently acquired property seeking a variance regarding their building. Specifically, they were requesting to reduce the mandated 45 parking spaces to 5. The variance is being pursued in connection with the proposal to expand an existing facility which is located across the street with the focus on augmenting the number of surgical rooms. The location is actually 3002 Farragut Road. I'm sure everyone's familiar with that juncture and the medical facility that's currently there. The consensus of the Land Use Committee was in opposition of the variance. Key takeaways include the recognition that parking in our community is a contentious issue on multiple fronts, and removing the required provision would place a significant burden on the neighborhood's residents and businesses. It's worth noting that we couldn't formally vote at that time of the meeting, and due to a lack of quorum, And additionally, some members requested additional time to review the documents provided because it was a short notice. They will be presenting here next month, and I encourage everyone to come in and to make sure that your vote gets registered with that process. We will also be drafting a letter with our recommendation as a land use committee on how we feel we should move forward and any other recommendations to the actual presenters, which will be presented also next month. As far as the Shirley's Chisholm Recreation Center, a lot of it was said already, but I'll run through it really quickly. The excavation has begun. You'll start seeing activities on Foster between New York and Nostrand. That is the entryway into the actual property, and community notices are being distributed with it's like 1 week look aheads for what you'll be seeing. So you'll see a lot of activities at this moment. It'll just be regulated to trucks and excavation, which is basically demoing, destroying the ground, and removing those debris off-site. As far as the workforce opportunities, which was also touched on, I'll run through it quickly. We are trying to organize workshops to provide interested parties the necessary certifications to participate in the construction. We're also working with any local contractors to prepare them with the provisions needed to be recognized and honored once the request for proposals get distributed, which at this time hasn't happened. All right. And that concludes my report.
Thank you.
Questions?
Are there any questions for the Chair of Land Use? Thank you. Seeing none. Parks and Beautification, followed by Public Transportation and Public Safety.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Berlotte Otwan. I'm the chair for the Parks and Beautification Committee. For those of you who came to our last event, thank you so much. We had the support of Councilwoman Farah Lewis, Assemblywoman Waterman, and representative from the mayor, my committee members. Thank you, Mr. Tate. Thank you so much, Ms. Fraser, and all the board members who came to assist us. Thank you so much. We'll be doing more events this year. As a matter of fact, our next event will be It's My Park. It's not my park, it's your park. So green places are good for health. So let's clean the park together. On October 7th, we will have a cleaning day at Tilden Park. So from 10 to 12, we'll be together to clean Tilden Park. And if you see something at the park, say something. Let the board know that there is something at the park that needs to be fixed, either light or something that you need cleaning at the park. So let us know. I will be in the back. If you have any question, come to me. Our meeting is on the second Tuesday of every month virtually. So I hope that you can be there, and please register and be part of the Parks and Beautification Committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions? When is your meeting?
Tuesday of the month.
Thank you. When?
Tuesday of the month.
Thank you. And also, by the way, I know what the meetings are, but please note that we do have the calendar that you need to look at on the Board of Ed the Board of Ed. I don't know where my mind is. On the community board website, and keep saying it because I want people to get more and more acclimated with using the website so some of the information can be given to you before you come to the meeting. With that being said, transportation, public safety, followed by I think sanitation is not here, right? No, and social services is not here either. Okay, then that will be followed by personnel.
All right, good evening, everyone. Newly appointed Transportation and Public Safety Chair. During the summer, I actually had a meeting to meet with Precinct 67, in particular, Detective Skinner and Detective Pierre, also Patricia Reddock, who is the president of the Community Council. So I'll be working with them in terms of discussing and also attending their Community Council meetings which I believe is on the third Thursday of every month, which tomorrow is the third Thursday.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. So I met with them, I introduced myself, so we will continue to work together to keep the public safety and awareness in our community. Also, there was a meeting where the commissioner of the Department of Transportation, as well as the deputy commissioner and several heads of that agency came down to discuss the bike lane, the bike share, and the car ride share situation. For many who have been aware, all in a sudden it seemed like there was an onslaught of these bikes, city bikes all over the place, So we requested in June to have a meeting to have it stopped. At that meeting, it was brought to our attention that Department of Transportation does not care about parking for the community. So this is why we had that meeting with the DOT commissioner to iron that out, to get that, maybe that what we got in the community board meeting in June rectified, and so we did. So there has been a stop to that. They have removed some of the bike shares as well as the ride shares. Those spots that are taken up for these cars that would just sit down and hopefully people will use them. We brought it to their attention that because our community is a community where a lot of the people drive, we don't really ride bikes. And Department of Transportation Commissioner was saying, well, this is a city mandate coming from Bloomberg and then from de Blasio, and Mayor Adams just upheld it to become, in his words, more health conscious, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it was a win for us because at that meeting, Assembly
Did we lose the speaker?
Yeah,
I think
we
so.
lost the sound.
Probably, but they don't care that we're online. So
I think it's quite ironic that right now, this when they
we
lose.
lost the speaker. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm rushing from work now to go in person because I just think it's very disrespectful, whoever the head person is that's talking, that he doesn't like Zoom. Like, if people can't make it, they can't make it. And they just really sound obnoxious to me. So I'm just gonna make it my business to be there in person from here on out. And if I have to leave work early, I'll do that. Yeah, we have to be there in person. He's very disrespectful. All of his verbiage is very rude. And he's not even on the camera, so I can't even see who he is. So that's that. Sorry if he's related to some of y'all on here or y'all know him personally, but he sounds very disrespectful. And
That's
he's,
right, sir.
yeah.
That's right.
This is my
But-
first meeting, so I mean, when I got on, they were running a lot of the. Oh, I'm sorry. Good evening, everybody. My name is Deborah Sanders. They were speaking of Robert's rules and a lot of different things. I think the sister is right that we need to be in person to get a better sense of this committee, and how it operates.
It's not my first time. It just I used to go before the pandemic, and then obviously the pandemic shifted a lot of things.
I did see
and
two
I work
members
in
walk in, but I did call on personal chair, so only need a couple minutes, or you good? Say it again.
I don't need any minutes.
You're good.
Yeah, we
Go
can
ahead.
hear now.
Hi, good evening. My name is Bonserat Oni. I am the co-chair of the Health and Social Services and Hospitality Committee. The Social Services Committee meets on the last Monday of every month. We'll be meeting this coming Monday for our first meeting of this new year. We will be discussing our annual health fair as well as other initiatives to get social services, information about social services into the community, and not just the one big health fair, but to have some other touch points with the community during the year. If you are interested in joining us, you can check the website or reach out to the district manager. Thank you.
Thank you. I know it's short. How was your trip? Huh? She didn't hear. She didn't hear. Personnel chair, followed by the sanitation chair.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rose Graham, Chair of the Personnel Committee, and at this time, there's not much to report tonight, except that we're still experiencing challenges as it relates to the everyday running of the board's office. We're down 2 staff members, one in retirement and one as a result of dismissal. And I just want to congratulate and shout out District Manager, Ms. Frazier, for doing the best that she can in providing the community with the well-needed services. The board will begin the process of hiring another assistant district manager as well as a part-time office assistant. And the personnel committee will keep the board posted as to how this is unfolding. And this is the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chair Hill? I'm sorry, are there any questions? Are there any questions for Chair Graham? I see none. Michael, I mean, you still got to come. Followed by, we have communications, bylaws and rezoning.
Hello, everyone. Michael Hill. I'm with the Sanitation and Environment Committee.
Chair Hill, if you just.
Chair, sorry.
Chair. No, just
My,
bring the mic up so we can hear you.
Yes, I'm the chair of the Sanitation and Environmental Committee. There isn't much to report based on the meeting that we had Monday. But there were some things that were discussed. And I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention very briefly that when it comes to the Sanitation and Environmental Committee meetings, I would really appreciate it and encourage everyone to join and to be a part of those meetings. We did talk about issues with the sanitation, but there were more things that were discussed. There was a broader discussion that was had. And there were some things that we talked about that were a little different when it comes to addressing certain issues. A few of those things were having a more direct approach when it comes to dealing with our issues, not just having meetings and having conversations, but options that we may have when it comes to taking a more direct approach when it comes to addressing the issues. There was one particular issue that was discussed where it had been several months and there was no resolution to the particular issue. And the reason that we had come to the conclusion was that there wasn't any real care for it because it wasn't the particular community of interest, or that it wasn't really significant for sanitation to deal with. And I think that that's something that happens quite a bit when it comes to the types of issues that we have in our community, that if they don't feel that it's relevant, it really does not get really addressed or looked at. And I think that there are things that we can do that can make a difference. So I really would like more people to be a part of those meetings, more ideas, more innovation. And I definitely think that there's going to be a lot of changes coming if I have the ability to get things done that I have in mind. So I appreciate everyone's support, and I hope that I can support everyone else. So that's it. Thank you.
Chair Frey, for 1 second, please.
Questions? I'm sorry, were there
Come to
questions?
the mic, Mr. Again, if you have any questions or comment, please come to the mic.
Yeah, Mr. Hill, good evening. My name is Godfrey Sandiford. I'm the president of my block association, East 37th Street between Glenwood and Farragut. And my question has to do with street cleaning. I have a problem with my street not properly cleaned week after week because the cars don't move. And I do not see any of the enforcement folks in the little police cars or in the sanitation green cars. And I would like to know how come it is I see all those cars parked over here on Ralph Avenue and Church, and I don't see them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, going up and down any of the blocks in my neighborhood, but specifically on my block. And the street cleaners always have to be going around cars. Therefore, the street is not properly clean. What can we do to get enforcement to have these cars ticketed or moved or whatever?
Okay.
So before he answers that question, I just want to ask 2 questions and then you can go. 1, are these registered cars? 2, are they zip cars?
No, they're registered cars.
Regular cars?
You see, because there's so much construction now in my area, New York Avenue, Brooklyn Avenue, all those new apartment buildings are going up. People are now coming on my block and other blocks to park at night. And when they're supposed to move their cars on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday, they don't. And the street cleaners have to be going around them and leaving the streets dirty. And there's no enforcement.
Okay, that's a DSNY question.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming up and expressing that. I think that what we need to do is you and I, we should talk as soon as I come down from here. And I would like to know exactly where you're referring to so I can speak to the liaison, which is Ms. Cunningham, as I've been instructed, and to see what she has to say about it. But at the end of the day, if nothing is ever done as a result of that conversation, that, as I was already saying, that there has to be something else that's done. Because if all we do is we sit here and we just reach out to people and just hope that they'll care to take us seriously and to care about what we need, it's never going to happen. So we have to do something else. And I have an idea of what that something else is, and I'd be happy to talk to you about that after I step down from here.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Martinez?
Allison Martinez, I don't know what the priority projects will be, but I'm hoping that one of them for the community for this year could be working around the lack of cooling centers in our community. East Wabash is actually the last on the list when it comes to dealing with the extreme heat that we are experiencing, and that's getting worse every year. So
I'm sorry, a little slower and a little, because I didn't hear exactly what it is that you were asking to look at.
I wanted, since it's the environmental committee as well, East Wabash is actually last on the list when it comes to access to cooling centers. And as our community is experiencing more and more extreme heat, which is going to impact health and everything else, we need to actually work to identify potential sites for them and to figure out how we can do them through natural canopy and also actual spaces. So that should be something that's high on the list, especially because there's a lot of money that's flowing down from NYSERDA, EPA, and all of that right now to work on that as an issue. So I just want to put that ahead to your committee as something to work on.
All right, sounds great. I'm happy to talk to you as soon as I step down from here as well.
Any other questions for Chair Hill?
Great, I love
You
questions.
get the last question.
Hi.
My name is Antoinette Smart. I'm a board member.
Nice to meet you.
Basically, I would like to piggyback on what Mr. Grandison said, what Mr.
Godfrey
Right,
Sanford.
what he said. The point is this, we have reported continually, and the prior chair can attest to this, the prior chair of sanitation, because we've sent emails, we have reported continually to sanitation. I personally have reported to the supervisor of sanitation. We reported to 67 precinct up to 311 until I now have a pack this big of 311 reports. Here's the problem. The 67 precinct is not supporting us. I have reported to my officer several times, many times, multiple times. Each time that the cars are parked, it's a street sweeping day, on the evening before and the morning of, and there's like 15 cars on my block, and no one is ticketed, and my streets are continually not being swept. 311 is aware of it. The person at sanitation supervisor Thomas is aware of it. 67 precinct is aware of it. My patrol office is aware of it. This is an ongoing problem, and we are not being supported. That's the bottom line. We are not being supported. So it doesn't matter. We can report and complain and complain. The support is not there. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I really appreciate that. And I just want to say that, just based on the people that are here tonight, if everyone really cares about what she had to say, as I do, we can all get together and we can do something more than just reach out to someone that's going to ignore us to make a difference. And unfortunately, that is what I think we've been lacking for too long, is to take matters into our own hands, not in a violent way, of course, but
Glad you corrected yourself.
but in a more direct, more purposeful way, where it will definitely send a message that we are not going to sit by and allow these things to continue anymore. And that pertains to every issue that every single person is sitting here dealing with today. Doesn't matter what committee it is, if we all sat there together, whether it's a sanitation issue or a land zoning issue or any other type of issue, if it was just the group of people that are in here tonight, we can make a huge difference. So that's what I would like to see as I'm here. So I appreciate everything, and I look forward to more conversations and more issues that we can resolve. And I think that we can definitely get it done if we do it together.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so I'm gonna minimize the questions to one. All right, because it's now 8:22. So I'm working on that. Who did I last call on? Personnel went already, right? Correct? Post office is not here. Bylaws and rezoning, can you give both reports? And also bylaws and rezoning, please, let's see if we can combine both of those in 2.5 minutes, both of those. Good luck.
Unfortunately, Mr. Chair, that would not be possible. Good evening, everyone. My name is J.L. James. And on point of privilege, I had to go out and sweep my street this afternoon because cars didn't move and my street was filthy. I invite all the members of the board to submit. You will receive a copy of the revised bylaws sometime within the next week. I invite you to go through it, and if you identify any issue, that you think warrants an amendment, please contact any member of the bylaws committee, because we want to just address them in the next 2 or 3 months. And we want to address them in the next 2 or 3 months to be able to wrap up the work of the bylaws committee. So again, please, all board members, please make a concerted effort to read the bylaws when you receive it, in order for us to propose any amendments that you think are necessary. Thank you. Okay, good, thank you.
Wait, hold on a
per-
second. Is that a report or?
That's the report, that's a report. I just did it to make it easy this way.
Okay.
The rezoning committee, as per the bylaws, is required to present the rezoning proposal before it can be voted on. So this is notice to the board members that the proposed rezoning proposal that you received, we ask you to go through it. In order to make any comments, you will be able to go online to the board's website to make any comments that come to your attention. Just to give you some highlights, we have proposed a rezoning that will increase the housing stock by 3,645, which is substantially more than the city is asking for any other community board. To give you a sense, we are talking about upzoning New York Avenue, Rogers Avenue, portions of Church, Utica, in order to preserve the rest of the district. Next month, as an action item, we will be presenting a resolution to the board, a resolution that whereas New York City is facing a housing crisis and the current extensive development within Community Board 17 fails to meet the housing needs of average New York City residents and worsens the housing crisis, given between 2020 to 2022, the third highest, most expensive housing development in the entire New York City were constructed in CB 17, although CB 17's median income is significantly lower than the rest of the city. Whereas the current R6 zoning as of right is having a dire impact on CB 17 and the quality of life of its residents, including issues such as the construction of buildings that are destroying the character of neighborhoods, the displacement of residents and businesses,
Wait, hold on.
developers' harassments of
Madam
rights
Chair,
to.
Hold on one second.
Yes.
I gotta interrupt you. If this is a resolution that's.
It's not a resolution, but I have to.
Whereas.
I have to, as per the bylaws, tonight, I need to inform the members of the resolution that will be, I need to give 30 days notice. So
Yeah.
this is a
Yeah,
30
that's
days
what
notice.
I get that 30-day notice. What I'm saying is that instead of reading it, is there any?
It has to be presented to the public. It will be done in another minute or two. Thank you. Whereas the current R6 zoning dating back to 1961 fails to provide for the mandatory creation of a percentage of affordable units in new development. Whereas to specifically end developers as of right to construct buildings without the input of the community and which are out of context with the neighborhood, New York City instituted a quality housing program with mandatory requirements for contextual development. Whereas CB 17 from 2005 has engaged in dialogue to institute a zoning text and map amendment to change our current zoning regulations. Whereas there's a racial and income inequality and disparity because the more affluent Brooklyn community boards were permitted to rezone to protect and preserve the neighborhoods through contextual rezoning, and that CB 17 is the only Brooklyn community board that has not undergone rezoning, whereas small businesses are a fundamental part of American life, and whereas small businesses are being destroyed and displaced by the development of unaffordable commercial rentals in CB 17, that is a crucial aspect of the rezoning proposal provision being made to protect and preserve opportunities for local entrepreneurs. Be it resolved that to address the city's housing crisis and the inherent problems stemming from developers as of right under the current R6 zoning, that CB 17 submit a rezoning proposal to the Department of City Planning to amend CB 17 zoning text and zoning maps to facilitate the creation of an additional 3,645 housing units, which exceeds the threshold advocated by New York City and New York State for community board stands. So I presented the resolution to you that will be voted on at the next board meeting as per the bylaws. Are there any questions? Yeah, are there any comments on the rezoning proposal? Yeah, they could send it to the board. Mhm.
Yeah, I saw the map, oh, sorry, my name is Menachem Shanowitz, I'm a board member. I just want to get clarification, I saw in the proposal that you sent out, there's a large area that's currently zoned as R6. Everything that was, is there, so, just to get clarity on this, there's no more R6 in the entire East Flatbush team, except for very minor areas, but the bulk of the map seems to be rezoned to R5B, right?
You're asking what the change will be or what is?
Meaning, it's not, okay, sorry, I rephrase. The entire area is requested to be rezoned, right? It's not just specific, that's really what I want to know. It's not just specific, because in the document, it mentions specific areas, but it seems like the entire area is actually being requested to be rezoned.
Okay, just one second, I'll bring this up. I'm showing the maps.
Can you restate your name very slowly for the record?
Menachem Shanowitz.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
What will be done is areas that have been developed by developers already, New York Avenue, New York Avenue, my God. Rogers Avenue, certain portions of Church, Utica will be upzoned to an R7, which permits a lot more than the development that is currently available under R6. That will create an additional 3,645 units. Areas that were previously zoned R6 will be now R5B.
Oh, okay, across the board.
Not across the board, but in certain areas,
Meaning
yes.
like the whole upper part of the map, like from the back.
Correct. Some of that was already R5.
Okay.
Most of what you're seeing on top was already R5, so it's going to be R5B, meaning that any development must be in the context of what's there already.
Okay, thanks for the clarification.
Okay, great.
Wait, are you a board member? Okay,
Mr. Chair, you allowed non-board members to speak before.
hold on one second, please. The resolution is presented to the board, right? This is what I was afraid of. Because it cannot be, for lack of a better word, debated today and debated again. Because then when it presents their board, it will be debated. So now it's for a presentation. I'm only going to say, I'm not going to tell you not to speak. What I'm asking for is only for questions. If you have a question of clarity, that you need to go back, but it's not something that's to be debated today. It's to be debated after the presentation and then when we come back next month.
Go ahead and ask your question.
Is it a debate?
What is the question? What is the question? Sorry?
Go ahead.
Ask your question, sorry.
State your name, just.
Is it on? Yes. Good evening, everyone. So I'm a business owner in Nostrand, 16.
State your name.
Deborah Dawkins. So I'm a business owner on Nostrand Avenue. So I see all these changes that's coming. So my concern are what's going to happen to the small businesses when they come with these huge buildings that's coming, business, what we're going to do. You know, for when the rent goes up, how we're going to be able to afford it with all these new buildings that's coming. I've been in the neighborhood for over 30+ years and I see the changes, you know, and it's a little scary for small business owners, what's going to happen to us. So that was really my question.
Well, that's a very good question, because what this proposal does is protects a portion of our neighborhood, specifically Nostrand Avenue, for the small businesses, that small local entrepreneurs, community persons who want to have a business can have a place to do it. Because we all know once development comes in, rents skyrocket $20, $30, $40,000. And the barber, the hairdresser, the Caribbean restaurant is not going to find affordable space. So we are seeking a proposal. We think it's a very fair proposal to the city. We want Nostrand to be protected and preserved for small businesses and other areas which have already been, just haphazard development. New York Avenue, Rogers Avenue, portions of Church in Utica will increase the development there to compensate. And in that case, we're giving the city a lot more housing than any other community board in 17 is doing. So yes, the goal is to protect as much as possible the small businesses on Nostrand Avenue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry, I can't.
You allowed
No,
two
no,
other people to speak.
I'm not, let me correct my statement, right? I'm not gonna allow the question publicly. I'm gonna ask the chair you can ask the question of the chair, but we're really.
So this is very important.
I'm not saying that, ma'am.
Specifically for this meeting to ask a general question, because I believe the public needs to know how to be told to not know.
Wait.
2 hours to get here, I was on the call and I've been listening to you the entire time. Also, you were my busy.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much.
Does it pertain to rezone? Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, what's your name?
Freshly, look me up in the air, but thank you very much. My question pertaining to the zoning is regarding the notification of residents within the area, as well as who's actually going to be living in those spaces. So based on my understanding, the rezoning is occurring primarily within the vicinity of the hospital. And it's going to be, as you mentioned, increase in the number of units, and they're restructuring it for housing, but then also like supposed to be open to public in various capacities, and it's primarily going to be homeless individuals or individuals with mental health issues. I just wanted accuracy and clarification on that. Additionally, you mentioned that we're upzoning and rezoning in certain areas, but changing it only for certain parts of the community, while others remain open to parking issues and a lot of the issues that have been addressed by community members over the last hour and a half.
Okay, good. So
You gave me like 2 seconds.
yes, okay, so I'll take a minute to answer it, right? What we are doing is upzoning certain streets to restrict those particular streets to being available for development. So whereas developers in the past could go in a block with homes, 1, 2 family homes, and destroy 1, 2, 3 homes and put a 12-story building in the middle of it where they couldn't do it in any other neighborhood, they could do it in us, that will stop it. Because in those areas, they would have, whatever development takes place has to be consistent, contextual with what's already there. So we are preserving and protecting an area, certain areas, the major wide streets, they will be upzoned to be, for additional development.
But leaving other areas vulnerable still.
No, we are down zoning pretty much everywhere else. Now, I think the question that you're asking is about what's called vital Brooklyn developments, which are state developments. The state has a sovereign right to develop whatever it wants on its property. The city cannot restrict it. So yes, there are areas on Clarkson, Lenox, Rutland Road, where certain developments are taking place. It's outside the hands of the board, even the city, because the state has a right to do so.
Okay, I'm gonna yield, as you may say, because I don't want to continue.
Okay.
I appreciate. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
By the way, thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Listen, for everything, I just want to make sure that people know that there are committees and some of these things are vetted in the committee. And I do understand, I don't remember what you said your name was again, I'm old, but please know a lot of these conversations are done in committee, and Chair James is readily available. Trust me, she loves talking about this stuff. So she's more than willing to answer an email, have a phone call, talk to you when she has some downtime to address the issue.
Okay.
All right?
On point of order, you'll be able to go on the board's website next week and give any comments, suggestions, recommendations that you have to the rezoning committee. Thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you. Brookdale, Ms. Reed. Also, while she's coming up, Mr. McCabe, stand up. So Mr. McCabe will now be the downstate cab. And so we'll be working with that with him as well. So just to inform you, to anything happen at downstate, he's going to be now a point person. Ms. Reed?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, everyone. I'm Janice Reed, and I'm the CB17 rep on the OBH Brookdale Community Advisory Board, otherwise known as the CAB. At our CAB meeting on Monday, September 11th, it was reported that the Brookdale campus has received approval from the state to begin reconstruction of the ER, and that will provide a brand new ER as well as a new psych ER area for pediatrics and adult behavioral health. With the planned reconstruction, traffic is now to the ER is now through the main entrance. There will also to be a new trauma center. There will be 2 new behavioral health units on the 5th floor, and all outpatient ambulatory sites will be upgraded within the next year. State funding has decreased due to the influx of immigrants, hence the in order to increase revenue and decrease costs, there's a hiring freeze at the hospital currently. And last but not least, the CAB will be holding a charity fundraising dinner on Thursday, October 19th from 7 to 12 a.m. at Glen Terrace. And that's located at 5313 Avenue N in Brooklyn. The donation is $125 and the RSVP is by October 6th. Some proceeds will be utilized to benefit some of the departments within the hospital. And CB17 is currently, is strongly, well, it's recommended that we do support this event. And so if anyone would like to attend, you can see me after the meeting and I will give you information on how you can respond to that. Thank you. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Were there any flyers for the event on October that in the back or?
Because I told it was told it was supposed to be on the website.
Okay, just go to the website?
Yes.
Okay, all right. No, I'm just saying for people who, again, see the website becomes very, very vital. I'm going to quickly go to agency report. Well, is there any committee member, committee chair that I missed? I see her. Executive Officer Islam, can you please step forward, followed by Councilmember Farah Lewis.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. My name is Captain Muhammad Islam, 67 Precinct Executive Officer. Thank the board for this opportunity and members here tonight. I'll make this brief. We had a great summer leading to a great Labor Day weekend with amazing festivities. It was very successful and we want to finish the year off strong, the fall and the winter the same way on a positive note. As far as 67 Precinct personnel, you know, they did an amazing job under the leadership of Inspector Saliba. The cops, the men and women, they work hard day in, day out. And that was a reflection of their hard work in collaboration with the community, the clergy, community members, elected officials, everyone together, a partnership that really helped have a successful summer as well as the Labor Day weekend. And we want to finish that strong. So thank you. Any questions, take them now.
There have been a series of gun violence in our community in the last month. I think that it would be of interest to the community for you to discuss what safety measures the 6-7 has put in place. Again, if we don't feel safe in our own community, that's a problem. Have there been any uptake in any gang violence? I'm even reading my email now to know that these things are happening. So I just want to make sure that we address this. And the other thing, there's a certain amount of theft, or I don't know if they're breaking in or car theft, we have a lot of seniors, a lot of community, a lot of this, and I think that I just feel like it's not being, you're not.
Chairman, that's a great question, and I'll put it in simple terms. Public safety is always our number one concern. To clarify, as far as uptick, there's only been 2 shootings this month. So I'm not sure what you mean by an uptick. There were shootings earlier during the summer. However, we curved that. So to address that, we have addressed it with the summer violence zones. There was increased presence throughout the summer into the fall, and now we're continuing that with police presence and a fall violence zone. So the police presence, the deployment packages, all of that has been put together. We have coverage. As far as in-depth analysis, I encourage everyone to join us tomorrow at the council meeting, 7:30, 67 Precinct, where we can go further in depth. Myself, Inspector Saliba, our community affairs officers, our NCOs, every detail that needs to be discussed will be discussed in terms of crime patterns. Overall, I will say this though, the 67 Precinct is down year-to-date in crimes. So as far as statistics, the numbers show the men and women have been doing a phenomenal job, because this decrease is close to about 10%, which is phenomenal. So like I said, tomorrow, if everybody wants to join us, absolutely, questions will be taken. I'll be here afterwards. My community affairs officer, Detective Mark Pierre, is here, and Detective Skinner, as everybody knows, so as well. So
Also, I just wanted to also congratulate you guys on Juve and that Juve night, to know that it was incident-free, right? So I just want to make sure that I point that out as well. It's not just,
thank you.
It's not just that, but there is some community concerns about some of the stuff that we just.
Absolutely, and those concerns will always be addressed. As I said, public safety is always number one concern, and that success showed that Juve weekend without any incident, and we haven't seen that in a long time. So that was the men and women out there, along with the clergy, God Squad, community members, everyone that was there, elected officials, came out to the roll calls to address the cops. It's a joint collaboration, and we want to continue that going forward.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Exo Islam?
Yes.
I have a question.
Statutory.
There's no questions for the police? Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, Senator.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Excuse me,
Two
sir.
people are trying to ask a question. Two of us are trying to ask a question.
No. It's not on the subject matter, but thank you.
I have a
Any questions?
question.
Thank you very much.
I'm not sure if I'm being heard.
Just step
Hello?
forward.
I'm on the Zoom. My name is Sophia McKenzie. I live on Church
My name is
Avenue.
Teresa Brereton, board member. What is being done about the abandoned vehicles? I know it comes up in every meeting on the streets. And as was said before, the sweepers are not able to clean the streets, and absolutely nothing is being done. There are abandoned vehicles sitting there for over, I would say, 3 years, even before COVID on my block. I made several reports, and to date, those vehicles are still sitting there. Can you please respond?
Can you tell him your block as well, so he knows what to look at for?
Yes, thank you. Afterwards, if you can give the information to Detective Pierre, thank you. But I do want to address this. I know the gentleman earlier also brought up parking issues. So I just want to put in perspective as far as 67 Precinct. Year to date, we've conducted over 29 tow operations involving vehicles abandoned, derelict, mismatched plates. We've towed over 300 vehicles year to date. We've issued over 100 A summonses to double parkers. I know he mentioned vehicles, street cleaning. This is just precinct personnel. Does not include the traffic enforcement that also takes place. I've been in coordination with the Traffic Management Division. They've been sending their resources. If there's a specific location that has not been hit, it is because we didn't get it. So I want to make sure if you do have it, you can always reach out to our community affairs, our NCOs. Like I said, we've done 29 operations year to date. Over 300 vehicles were actually seized that were abandoned, derelict. On top of that, we've issued numerous summonses, removed numerous mismatched plates. We are addressing on our account. Our latest operation just took place 9/13 and 9/14. So overall, on our part, we are there and we want to address it and help as much as we can. But we need that information. When you give that information, the location specifics, along with sanitation, DOT, there's other units that are also working with us to do these operations. So by all means, reach out.
Just for the record, I've made several complaints. I've given it to Detective Skinner and others, and nothing has done.
As I said, if you gave it to Pierre today, I'll make sure it's addressed personally. Thank you.
Okay, I see it. I see the messages online, but I did not see, I have asked before online. That's why we do ask. It's easier when people come into the meeting, and yes, we do care about the people online. So the messages that are kind of inappropriate online, please stop typing them because it is a public record. So please don't do that. If you have a question, please just raise your hand. And I did say we'll address the questions online. Question number one, I think, if I see here, Natasha McDowell, you have a question? And yes, you, Madam Natasha. Well, yeah, Natasha, what's your question? Sophia. Yes.
Hi, are you able to hear me? Hello?
Okay, but I don't know why they cannot hear.
Okay, all right.
We can't hear her. Okay, well, when you're sitting in the room, you can hear that we cannot hear. This is now the first time I'm hearing it. Yes, ma'am. Wait, hold on. Wait, everybody pause. Have a statement or a question, please step to the mic. If not, we can address it, but you, young lady, yes, you have the floor if you could step forward. As for the person on the line, can you type the question in the chat? Okay, now, yes, go ahead, ma'am. Yeah.
Good evening, my name is Jason Stewart. This is my first visit here meeting.
Slower. Say it again.
Jason Stewart, I live on East 38. This is my first meeting.
Are you for the police officer?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I just want to ask a question. In my community on Church Avenue, New York Avenue, Nostrand Avenue, a lot of business been closing down, and all this is going up is all pure smoke shop. What is that?
Are you asking me why the businesses are closing down?
Yeah, what is that? Oh, a lot of businesses, a lot of.
I mean, I don't think that's a question for me in terms of why the businesses are closing down. That's a question you're gonna have to ask the community members that's in those businesses, the business districts.
So you mentioned there's no shooting at Church Avenue. There's a lot of shooting taking place. Yesterday I was on the way to a meeting, and there was a lot of shooting on Nostrand and Prospect.
Ma'am, it's a great question, but if you listened to earlier, I addressed the shooting concern. And tomorrow night, if you would like, join us at the community council meeting. We'll go further in depth with you. There'll be more officers involved, my NCOs, my community affairs, myself. We'll definitely go into depth with that.
Okay, and my last question.
Yes.
Have an incident in your community and you call a precinct, why don't want you to come outside to identify who the person is? That's not safe.
I'm sorry, what was the question? I didn't hear the last part.
Incidents in your neighborhood, especially on your block, and you call the precinct, they want you to come outside and identify who the person is. That's not safe.
No, that's not an accurate statement.
Address that.
You don't have to identify yourself. You can remain anonymous.
That's what they're telling me.
I'm not sure who's telling you that, but
Guys, I'm sorry. 1 second. 1 second. Let's have one meeting, because please note that the meeting is being recorded. So it's very hard to pick up the chatter in the meeting. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, I'll finish.
Okay, thank you.
thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, so.
Am I being heard
Just to
now?
sum it up, this one question regarding weed shop and the illegal weed shops. Have, in our community board 17, I'm just gonna rephrase what this question is. In our community board 17, has there been an operation to visit the illegal smoke shops that are serving as weed shops within this district?
So the question itself is great. I know there's a lot of smoke weed shops. All these shops are coming up. As far as the police department, on our end, we have numerous operations, but this is not just one facet where the police department takes the only approach. This involves multitudes, the sheriff's department, the mayor's office. So it's not a 1, 2, 3 step. There's different things that has to be addressed to get to the point as far as the business itself. There's different avenues, different approaches. It's not like we're not addressing it. We are addressing it. We're working on them. I can honestly tell you there's been numerous businesses I visited myself that we have certain things in place, their business license, and anything of that nature that to either shut them down or make sure they're operating with all legal parameters. So we are working on it. If that is the question they're asking, we're working on it. But as you can see, they're going up much faster than we can anticipate.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's some levels of concern all around the weed shops that's on that chat. All right.
They're none of them. Well, I know, but like that's.
Please, and so Islam, can you leave a contact so that people can reach your office, the community affairs office? So if they have a specific location, I think it's 287.
I'm gonna give everyone Detective Mark Pierre. He's in the back. I'm gonna give his number. So if everybody wants to write it down, it's 929-354-8193. Once again, it's 929-354-8193. That's Detective Mark Pierre. He's the gentleman in the blue in the back. Obviously, like I said, if you have any questions, concerns, I strongly encourage everyone to join us tomorrow night. You know, we can go in depth. My office will be there. The NCOs will be there. We can go further into explanations about the smoke shop because the smoke shops involve multiple aspects. It's just not just, hey, the smoke shop's going up and the police department is not doing anything about it. We're well aware of it. We're addressing it on our part, but there's multiple entities that's involved when it comes to smoke shops. There's certain things in our control and certain things out of our control. So I know the mayor's office has been addressing it. If you listen to the news in terms of sheriff's department being involved, there's a lot of, with them decriminalizing marijuana, changed the avenue of how it's approached.
All right, thank you. If there are any other questions?
Sorry.
All right.
Chair,
I
can I get like 30 seconds to try and do a tech
I
check?
can't hear you.
Can I get 30 seconds to try and figure out the audio?
Yes. The bottom comment from Adele, no return calls from 6-7. I've heard that complaint before. The last one, no return calls from 6-7. All right, so I've heard that, so that needs to be discussed. I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying it for discussion. I'm just saying something, a point of information.
I don't know who they're calling directly, so it all depends on, if you're calling the basics landline, you might, because there's so many different offices, so it depends who you're reaching out to. You're gonna have to reach out to the community affairs or the NCOs that handle all the complaints, community involved complaints. Direct number, you might not get the right person, you might get somebody else that's not relevant to taking complaints.
Okay. All right, we gotta move on. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, if there are any questions, please see Detective, my bad, Detective Pierre in the back or XO Islam, right? We need to move on. very quickly. Agencies, are there any other agencies? I know I saw Brooklyn Public Library. Oh, I'm sorry, Councilmember Lewis. Is your report very quick? She could go.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Donette Riker. I'm the Assistant Branch Manager at the East Flatbush Library, 9612 Church Avenue. And school just started, as everyone knows. I just want to welcome everybody to attend in-person programs at your local library branch, craft programs, teen times, movies, and much more. Also, you could visit your local branch's online calendar at brooklynpubliclibrary.org and see the full range of after-school programs that's offered. Also, online and in-person college application help is also being offered with College Connect. If you know someone that is thinking about applying for college or another post-secondary educational program, you can book an online appointment with a BPL or Brooklyn Public Library staff member who will help you with the admissions process. Also, there's live online tutoring with our online database called BrainFrews. And this offers free online tutoring in mathematics, reading, writing, and science from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. All you need is a library card. And again, that's through our website. Also, there are applications open for teen internships, and BPL, or Brooklyn Public Library, is recruiting teens for internships and other paid opportunities. Teens can earn a stipend and receive volunteer service hours and resume building experience. And these programs usually teach about tech, early childhood literacy, library careers, book publishing, and more. Applications are due on various days in October. Please again visit our website for more information. And as many of you guys may know, there is an exhibit at our main library at 10 Grand Army Plaza. It's called the Book of HOV. And this is hosting an immersive exhibit that honors Sean J.C. Carter's legacy and culture impact as part of a new partnership with Rock Nation. And the free exhibit features rare artifacts, including classic photos, art installations, and more from Carter's iconic career, and will be on view until early October. And as part of this celebration, BPL and Rock Nation have joined forces to create 13 limited edition library cards, which feature art from Jay-Z's albums for anyone that may be interested. And of course, this card, as well as all of our cards, are always free for anyone that lives, works, goes to school in New York State. And also for my local branch, 9612 Church Avenue, if anyone is interested in learning about embroidery, crocheting, story time for their kids, computer classes, we welcome you guys to come. There's flyers in the back, and I'm done. Is there any questions that I have?
What branch did you say your library was?
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Council member, are there any questions for BPL?
What branch
Thank
were
you.
you representing?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Chair and the Executive Board. I'm Councilmember Lewis. I have quite a few items. I hope you guys could bear with me and give me 5 minutes because I hear I see the concerns here, and I've been on the phone with JL and so many other people. So if you would allow me like 5 minutes so I could update the community, because there's a lot going on in Community Board 17. Again, good evening, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well. Hope you all had a good summer. All right, I'll stop with the casualties, but I want to put a quick plug. I saw Suede and Bamboo Walk on the agenda for liquor licenses, and just want to say that they've been very good neighbors to our community, and their investment in our community has definitely helped advance this community when it comes to small businesses. So I hope that the community board can support them tonight. I wanted to quickly address smoke shops. So the city of New York has 23 licenses. Sorry,
The state of New York was issued 23 licenses. 9 of those licenses are in New York City, which means if you see smoke shops anywhere in your community, most likely they are illegal. This program is a state program, so I'm hoping that the community board can have a conversation with our state colleagues to have further conversation about what this could look like, to have Kathy Hochul's office address. We've done what we can do on our end in the city council. We've submitted bills asking the state to respond to particular things. The last bill we put in is basically to penalize landlords that give leases to anyone that's opened a smoke shop or a cannabis shop that does not have a license, which means you would have to penalize the landlord or close down. There's currently an injunction, which means there's no further licenses that could be given out. And if you received a license in the last iteration, you can't operate right now. So I'm hoping one of our state colleagues will come tonight and have that conversation with you all, but on the city council side, on the mayor's side, we are not responsible for smoke shop or cannabis licenses in the city of New York. If anything, we're seeking to enforce. And we've conducted our own operations. My office has worked with Inspector Cipriano from the 7-0. I know that's not in this area, but we literally had to have kids go into the store and purchase gummies to shut down a smoke shop. That's how egregious we have to be about our process. So I'm hoping that our state colleagues could come together with the community board and have a conversation about that. So I wanted to quickly just put that plug in there for the questions I saw up there and some of you guys here. But I can't answer smoke shop questions. I see hands up. You should definitely speak to any of the state elected officials that come tonight. Okay? I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to give some background, some information, but we're doing what we have to do on our end on the city. The state has to enforce. That's what we're looking forward to. Now, I wanted to talk really quickly about CB17's rezoning process. I know that JL came up here and spoke about it. Thank you so much for presenting the new proposal that you have. We had a conversation with JL today, but I also have a letter that we wrote to the community board on June 17th, asking this board to help us to move forward with a rezoning process. And we got signatures from this board about us rezoning Community Board 17. This community board, this area has not been rezoned since the 1960s. The longer we take, the worse it's going to be. If you're upset because you see a bunch of buildings going up and high rises going up, it's because we are delaying a process. And I am pleading with you all. I don't know how many times I have to say it, how many letters I have to write, how many meetings I have to come to, how many DCP conversations I have to have, and how many times I have to bully a commissioner to come and meet with us to conduct a process. You all hold the power here. I don't hold the power, the mayor doesn't hold the power, and the commissioner does not. If you want your community to stay intact, you hold the power. So I know that JL has a proposal. I previously, and I want to thank Allison Martinez, who used to work with my office, but she's very active with this board. The community board had worked with WXY to conduct a study before they gave a proposal. In the end, is a two-phase process. There's an eastern part and a western part. The western part falls in Council District 45, and that would be considered Phase 1A of a potential rezoning process. And then there's an eastern part, which would be Phase 2. That is not in my district. That is in Councilmember Joseph's district and Mealy's district. I am pleading with you all tonight to please come on board so that we could start the Phase 1A process in the western part of the district. That would consist of contextual zoning, in which I am in support of downzoning Community Board 17 in the western part of my district. I do want affordable housing. I want to support our community, but I also want to keep the homes intact that we already have here. I think what WXY had presented before was an excellent proposal, and I think what JL has now with her committee as a whole is something that could definitely be implemented in the eastern part of the district. But we can't move forward, and DCP will not help us if we look fragmented and we're not on board. So I'm pleading with you all. I have a letter that this community board signed and agreed to. And I'm asking you all to please support this process, or we are going to lose our community. So, I want to thank JL for taking that meeting today. I'm hoping the executive board, we could meet and have one more conversation. But the DCP Commissioner, Commissioner Grodnick, is definitely on board to support starting a process for the Phase 1A portion of the western portion of the district for Phase 1A. And that will keep our community intact. If you need a copy of the letter, I'll leave it in the back. We could print out more copies. My staffer, Daniel Heredia, is here. If you need an email to you, we can do that. And Chair, I'm hoping that we could be on board together to make sure that this becomes a reality, in addition to what JL had presented to the board as well. In addition to that, Flatbush Gardens, I know that many of you have heard about the Article 11 that they were designated and that we voted on in the council in June. And I know that there's been many rumors that the council members sold out Flatbush Gardens. I did not sell out Flatbush Gardens. I have a letter here from Flatbush Gardens Tenants Association to Speaker Adrian Adams of the City Council asking for the Article 11. This letter dates back to June 21st, 2023, and I have the email that they sent over to HPD making the request with the letter attached to it. If you've come to any of our rallies that we had for about a year and a half in front of Flatbush Gardens, we needed a solution to the housing crisis that these tenants have. And this was the solution that the Flatbush Gardens management came up with, and that the tenant association came up with, and the attorneys that have supported the tenants with. This Article 11 is what they asked for. The information in the press is incorrect. Flatbush Gardens or Clipper Equity is not going to receive $191 million. It's actually $60 million for them to make repairs. And there were concessions to this process. I have a commitment letter from Clipper Equity to Flatbush Gardens tenants about what they asked for in addition to the Article 11. I could leave all this information in the back. It's all dated and public information. So if you need it, it's back here. But Flatbush Gardens will receive increased numbers of security guards and patrols. All tenants will be entitled to quality repairs. All courtyards, including soccer fields, will be upgraded and use proper materials for construction. They will have sanitized dumpsters in addition to extra waste management. They are going to maintain all intercoms, door systems, including basement doors. They will maintain and secure all parking garages, clean and sanitize all chutes and compactors, changing all lights in hallways and common areas. This is in addition to the repairs. Ensure that at least 20% of the contractors are minority-owned contractors that will actually do the repairs in Flatbush Gardens. So if you're an MWBE contractor, we could put you in touch with the landlord if you're interested in being a part of this process to receive a contract. And Clipper Equity has agreed to attend quarterly and virtually tenant association meetings to participate in some of the tenant events. In addition to that, they have an age-in-place application for those that are seniors to make sure that they are not getting evicted from their homes. I'll leave that information in the back. Chair, I wanted to make sure I addressed all of this, but in addition, I know that you all had a walkthrough with our sanitation commissioner for the city of New York recently. I don't know what came of that meeting. I know my staff was there, but what I do know is that the transportation commissioner came before the city council last week, Tuesday, to have a conversation, and he was not prepared to have a conversation about the streets master plan. So if you live in an area, and I know I do, where you see a bunch of bikes on your block or a car share, I went in on him about that. And he didn't have a response. He didn't have a plan. And it's null and void. So what we asked for is for a percentage of car share to be removed from Community Board 17 and Community Board 18. They recently sent a letter to my office to say the less utilization of car share and bike share in our community, they will remove them. So I'm not saying I'm against bikes. I'm not a biker. I don't care for bikes. I'll be honest with you. I especially don't care for city bikes because I think it's going to big business, but that's me. I just want to share with all of you that if you have bike racks in your neighborhood and you see that it's not being used, please let my office know. And I see NYPD left. I want to let you all know that we've had issues where people will take a bike, drive it down a block, and start shooting at somebody on the same city bike. So I'm asking you all who want to see city bikes removed off your block because it's not being used, and I know DOT said they'll do their own study. Daniel could go over that later. We want those removed, especially the car share slots that they have there. And last but not least, the DSNY commissioner came to our district last week to have a walkthrough about curbside composting. So if you're interested in getting one of those brown bins, you can reach out to our office. We could sign you up for a brown bin, or we could give you the information so you can sign up yourself DSNY is here. Thank you for canvassing with us the other day. I hope you get an opportunity to speak if you would like. They were very supportive in the process. A lot of our constituents in East Flatbush have signed up for curbside composting. I will yield my time. I hope you're not upset with me. I was gonna talk about some bills, but I'm not.
Wait, I'm sorry. I hate to do it to you. I ain't getting, my phone is going, I'm gonna ask, Dan, raise your hand. Do me a favor. Can you walk, or vice versa, can you just walk over to him? Right here, he's her staffer.
He could raise his hand.
Dan, please, we're like an hour behind schedule. I know, and that's why I'm giving you the opportunity to ask it. Yeah.
Sorry for taking so long, but it was a lot of updates and sorry. Have a good evening, everyone.
What's it? Yeah. Wait, ladies and gentlemen. Shh. Wait, 1 second. I am under serious amount of pressure up here. Because I'm looking at the time. People are edging. People want to leave. But yet still people have questions. I can't do both. So you have to respectfully say, I gotta minimize my comments, right? Or yield my time. I can't do both. So the next agency, please try to keep the report to 1 minute or 2, but not much more, unless it's a question that cannot be asked privately, you can ask it publicly. Okay? DSN1. And are there any, not legislative, agency? Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hillary Bosch. I work for the Department of Sanitation. I'll make this very brief. As the council member said, curbside composting service is going to be available for every residence that currently receives sanitation recycling service. Starting in October, just put out your compost with your recycling. If it's food, put it in a bin. We're giving them away for free. You can order one online. If it's yard waste, put it in a clear bag or in a bin. The main update is that yard waste composting is mandatory. So just put it in a clear bag or in your bin with your recycling. It's that easy. Food waste, optional. Sure.
My name is Montserrat Oni. I'm a board member. I just have a question about the bins.
Okay, if you could lean over.
Sorry, it's short. I just had a question about the bins. I live in a large building with about 120 residents and we're given 1 bin and that's not enough. So what is the process for larger buildings as opposed to like 1 or 2 family homes to get composting equipment?
Sure, that's a great question. It was about if you live in a larger building. It's going to turn into a service very similar to recycling. So in the way that you do for recycling, a building would acquire their own bins as necessary per size that they needed per quantity. That first initial bin is really just to get you started, get the process going, but we realize that you need more. So we're also giving away free composting bin decals or stickers. And hopefully, with the decrease of trash and the increase of compost, you can hopefully repurpose some of your existing trash bins for compost bins.
And so the people picking it up, when they see the decal, regardless of what the bin looks like, they would take it.
Correct. Yes, you do not need to use a brown bin, as long as you label a bin as compost and it's got a lid on it to keep the critters out, we'll pick it up as composting.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
There are no other agency, right? Community session. 1 minute. Community, not board members, community. Seeing none. Roll
Yes,
call.
I have a question. Can I make a comment, please? I'd like to make a comment. Can I make a public comment?
Go ahead.
So, I'm Alton from Tropical Fest. I just wanted to, say, the community board had us for a few events, over the summer. So wanted to thank you guys for that and to let you guys know we have a new space open up at the corner of Linden and New York Avenue, which will be a cultural space for music, for arts, for performances. And, we'll be reaching out to the community board to look into doing events there together. I've also reached out to the NYPD where we will also be doing events there for community. Thank you.
EV, community session. Who? What lady?
Hello.
So, I'm sorry, what am I missing? Yeah, is it your community session or legislative? Community, okay, go ahead. Evie, stay there. Go ahead, state your name for the record.
Myself? Oh, good evening. I'm Arna Lipkin and I'm with Connect IDCC.
Okay,
Oh, okay. So I've been here once before, about a year ago. Just wanted to share with you that Connect is a mental health service. It's a program under DOH and we are part of Interborough Development Consultation Center. What's special about our program for mental health services is that we do holistic treatment. In other words, you can't just treat the person with mental health, but if people do have other issues. So we help, for example, with benefits, housing, and employment. So if somebody has a mental health challenge, but they also have these other issues, that's where you come to our program. This is my flyer. I have some with me, some in the back. I have my card with me. We are located at 921 East New York. We're right near Utica Avenue. So we do these services. We also have special events according to the community feedback that we get. We have a food pantry. We also have a gun violence support group the first Wednesday of every month. So here's my information. I'll be happy to share. Thank you so much.
thank you, Evie.
Hello, my name is Evie Bien-Aimé, and I am the Community Engagement Specialist with the New York City Civic Engagement Commission, which is the first democratically elected commission as a part of the mayor administration. We are nonpartisan. We just want you to vote. We want to help you and educate you and help you become more civically aware and stay engaged in the community. That's part of our role in order to strengthen democracy as we know it in New York City. I put some pamphlet about the CEC, which is again, the Civic Engagement Commission. This Saturday, we partnered with the East Flatbush Community Partnership, and we're bringing a conversation to the community. And Community Board Chair Roderick Daly is one of our panelists. We'd like all of you, I put the flyers on the table to please come and take part in this conversation about what does civic engagement mean to you? We want to be able to explore this conversation, along with everybody and the questions they have about what's going on in our community today and how we can actually become a part of some of the solutions. So if you have any questions for me, there's one more thing I want to mention that you can now, we also have several programs, including the People's Money, which is New York's first citywide participatory budgeting process, which is the People's Money. And as of October 10th, you'll be able to go online and make proposals on programs and services that you would like to see take place in your neighborhoods and get it paid for with the mayor's expense budget, which is your money, the people's money. So if you have any questions about that, I'm here, I'm available to answer any of those questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, where's the location of the event on Saturday?
It's going to be at the Haitian Centers Council, which is at 3807-3809 Church Avenue, Brooklyn. That's between East 38th Street and East 39th Street. Our partners are the East Flatbush Community Partnership, of course, Community Board 17, Brooklyn Level Up, and the Haitian American Coalition, the Village, and the Center for Law and Social Justice at Medgar Evers. So please come out. We have great panelists, including Kathleen Daniel, who's the Chief Democracy Officer at the New York City Civic Engagement Commission, and Isaiah Finichel, who is the Voting Rights Coordinator for the Center for Law and Social Justice at Medgar Evers College. Please come out. This is a conversation for everyone. I know that you have questions here for the panel, but I'd love to hear you explore those questions with our panelists. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other community member? Are you?
Question?
Okay, what is the comment online? Hello all, just wanted to apply to Senator Prasad Saturday. Okay, we'll discuss that when it comes up. From Jay Seward. Can you just monitor that for me? I can't do that.
Yes.
Is there anything, just flag me, just let me know that I need to bring it up. On anybody else anybody online that have a comment?
I have a comment.
See none.
Can I make the comments?
Where?
Can I make a comment?
Go ahead, Jay.
Okay, my comment is, can you hear me clearly, Mr. Chair?
I can't hear you, Jay.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me clearly, Mr.
Jay,
Chair?
is it something you can type in the chat because we can't hear you? We're not sure what's going on with the audio online.
Okay, you can't hear me? Okay, all right, that's okay, Rudy. Go ahead. I'll type it. That's okay, Rudy.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Good.
Hello?
You hear me now?
Jay, go ahead. I think we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me now,
Yeah,
Mr.
go
Chair?
ahead.
Okay, I wanted to say two things very clearly. Number one is that the comment that was said previously about Vital Brooklyn, that this community board can do nothing because it's a state project, is a bunch of baloney. This community board is the voice of the community. It's the voice of the community. So what's going on Clarkson Avenue is they're putting in over 1,000 units with no parking, with oversaturation of homeless. And if it affects a community, Section 197-C-M, if it was ULURP, would say that you can get involved. Any community board can get involved. The fact that it's a New York State project and not ULURP, there's nothing tying your hands saying you can't stick up for your brothers and sisters who are north of Linden Boulevard. It's absolutely baloney. There's environmental aspects. You can say, yes, there's a parking problem. Ask people who live north of Linden Boulevard if they have a parking problem. Ask people who live north of Linden Boulevard if there's a problem with oversaturation of social services. You have to know what's going on. There's a website, a community group that's formed. It's called saynotoless.com. It's made up of people from the community who are longtime residents. And this community board is sacrificing people who live north of Linden Boulevard. The rezoning sacrifices people who are north of Linden Boulevard. It's Remsen Boulevard, Remsen Village rather, is taking the brunt of all the increase in the housing. So if you take a look at it, Utica Avenue, if you want to upzone Utica Avenue to 9 stories, which is okay, you got to go all the way down to Kings Highway and make it fair and equitable. Okay, you can't have it where one part of the community is protected and the other part is neglected and disrespected. okay? There's a lot of talk about protecting the West Indian merchants on Nostrand. There's West Indian merchants on Utica. So if you go 9 stories, of course you're going to displace them, okay? And when you take a look at the map, you've got the people who are near Brownsville. If you put 1,000 units there and there's no parking, the homeowners are going to be displaced. And you better get used to having a little bit of cream in your coffee, because it's people who are from out of the community who are going to change the election results, okay? It's good that you're rezoning in some places, but you have to inform the people in the north of what's happening to them. It should be, the upzoning should be distributed all over the district, okay? And we shouldn't have people who say that Vital Brooklyn shouldn't be talked about, and you should disclose the fact that the zoning chair, Julia James, is a property owner in Canarsie and is a real estate developer, okay? That has to be disclosed. That has to be disclosed. You have to disclose that on her website, she says she is a real estate developer and she's a property owner in Canarsie, yet East Flatbush is not important.
Mr. Sword.
Okay? These are facts. These are facts which must be disclosed. They're facts. It's not an opinion, it's facts. I've been shut down for a year and you misrepresented. There's over 1,000 people, there's a couple thousand people who are north of Linden Boulevard, and this community board is disregarding them. Thank you, Rudy. Rudy, have a great. I'm done, Rudy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day, Rudy.
All right. Adele. Ms. Bennett.
Yes, thank you, Rudy. No, I put my comment in the chat. It's in regards to DSNY and Community Board 18-217, because I've spoken to someone in 18.
Sorry, wait. Ms. Adele, you're coming over.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me better now? I think it's
comment in the chat. It's hard to hear you in the auditorium.
I put it in the chat.
All right, thank you. So in sake of time, let's move on. And we read a comment later. We could feedback to it later on. Roll call.
All right.
Please, just step for your name.
Kwame Opre. Brandon Alfonso. Tiffany Anderson. Berlin Antoine. Hassan Bakadine was here. Barrington Barrett. Celia Bellin. Teresa Barrington. Louis Brown. Asher Cunningham, present. Roderick Daly, present. Herminia Daniels. Herminia Daniels. Kayla. Natasha Duncan. You said excuse? Okay. Natalie Ferguson. Lena Fenderson. Pearline Fields. Pearline Fields. Allison French Kenton. Dr. Charles Galbraith. Rose Graham. Gail Granderson. Dovid Hellon. Michael Hill. Julia James. Rhonda James. Emerson Lazari. Osney Lewis.
Present.
Trisha Lewison. Brandon Martin. Mutherin. Edith Mark. Austin Nalja. Khadijah. Thank you. Montserrat Oni. Rodney Pepper Souvenir. June Prasad. Janice Reed. Dr. Carol No, Aaron Ra, Menachem Shanowitz. Thank you. Antoinette Smart, Camera Swaby, Simone Sylvester, George Tate, Tamara Thomas, excuse, Hezlati, thank you. Margaret Vigilante, Jessica Welch, Kenrick Westcott, and Ivo Wood. Ivo Wood is absent.
He's here.
He's here?
Yeah, he
Okay.
was. All right. Okay, so just to really answer some of the things online, just some of them are, I'm gonna refer to the transportation chair when it comes to DOT. As for the bus lanes, the bus issues, that's also DOT, so I'm gonna forward some of those over. Hopefully, we can get back to you on that. And we discussed the parking on the streets already at nausea. So hopefully I've answered all of those concerns. If not, just keep typing in the chat and we can move forward with that. The adoptions a minute, I already discussed that, public hearing, vote on 2 issues. Let's go to the code naming first. The code naming was already done. I don't remember what month it was, but it was done last year. And what happened was that there's a specific section that was that addressed that we need to re-vote on. The co-naming of Utica Avenue from Eastern Parkway down to Glenwood Road, down to Farragut Road, Guyana Avenue. So we had already voted on the issue, but need to be re-voted on. With that being said, I'm calling up Mr. James Richmond to come forward and Transportation Chair, this is your.
Good evening, everyone. Mr. Chair, I'm here with my colleague, Derek Arjun, to make the presentation. Quickly, I'll allow Derek Arjun to lead out first.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Chair, the board. Thanks for having us. My name is Derek Arjun, a member of the Guyana Avenue Co-Naming Committee. Look, the assembly person made a sterling plea to support this particular initiative. I would like to rest on what she said, but just to give you some factual information, not much, because we don't have time. Look, Guyanese constitutes about.
Mr. Arjun, I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt you, but I am going to. It was discussed before. It's just up for re-voting. So I'm gonna try to avoid a long, in essence of time, right?
Okay.
So I'm just gonna ask you just maybe 1 or 2 sentences and that's it. All right?
Okay, 1 or 2 sentences. Guyanese constitute a substantial portion of Brooklyn. They have contributed tremendously to Brooklyn and have distinguished themselves in many, many activities. Of course, they own many businesses and educational institutions.
And thank you very much. Now, we are looking at the eastern side of East New York Avenue, right down Utica to the northern side of Farragut Road for the co-naming for Guyana Avenue from this community board. And we thank you very much. You know, I want to end by saying this. Senator Schumer usually say, which is the largest island for the Caribbean? And he usually answer that question and say, Brooklyn. We are all one. We come as a diverse group to make Brooklyn better, one Caribbean. So we want to ask for your support in revoting this in the affirmative. Thank you very much.
That's brief enough.
I thank you. I apologize, but we did vote on it before, but we just need to revote.
So we already took, the roll call. As the transportation chair and public safety chair, we're just gonna redo the vote for the specification, as was said, east side of East New York Avenue to the northern side of Farragut Road, to co-name it Guyana Avenue. So now we are going to call all of the board members to revote on this issue.
All right, Kwame Afre,
You're voting.
your vote. Antoinette Burlock Antwine. Hassan isn't here. Teresa Barrington. Asher Cunningham, I vote yes. Roger Daly. Roger Daly.
Yes.
Hermina Daniels. Lena Fenderson. Thank you. Dr. Charles Galbraith.
Yes.
Thank you. Rose Graham. Thank you. Gil Granderson. Thank you. Michael Hill. Julia James. Yes. Osney Lewis. Thank you. Tricia Lewison. Thank you. Daniel McCabe. Thank you. Khadijah. Thank you. Montserrat Oni. June Prasad. Thank you. Janice Reed. Dr. Carano. Mena Chem. Thank you. Antoinette Smart. Thank you. Kamara.
Yes. Did someone say Edith Mark?
Simone Sylvester. George Tate. Is that a yes? Thank you. Marguerite Vigilante. Oh, Jessica Welch. And Ivor. Yes.
I did hear Edith Mark online. However, online cannot be, you have to be in person to vote. Yes, Ms.
Right, yes, that's correct. I just wanted to confirm that. Thank you.
Yes, yes. She said if it was done prior to your being nominated to the board, appointed to the board, do you have a say? Yes.
Yes,
You do.
yes,
But unfortunately, Ms. Mark, because you're online, you have to be in person to vote.
right, understood, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Liquor license? Oh, sorry. Election of the second vice chair. According to the bylaws, the second vice chair stepped down, resigned from the board to accept a position. I had appointed June Prasad as the second vice chair to complete the 1 month period. At this month's meeting, we will now vote for official second vice chair, right? only second vice chair to serve out the remainder of the term, which is election will be in June. Now, are there any nominations from the floor for second vice chair? Are there any, you could self-nominate, or obviously somebody else can nominate you. Are there any nominees for second vice chair? Are there any? All right. Are there any nominees for second vice chair? Okay, June Prasad has been nominated. Is there a second?
I second.
Montserrat only seconded. Are there any other nominees? Are there any other nominees for second vice chair? Going once. Are there any other nominees for second vice chair? Going twice. Are there any other nominees for second vice chair? Going thrice. Nomination has been closed. Since there's only one nominee, as chair of the board, will cast one vote for June Prasad as now the duly elected second vice chair of Community Board 17. With that being said, second vice chair Prasad, sir, 30 seconds as chair-elect. Go ahead with the commerce report.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening again. Can all liquor license applicants please step forward? Please come on up, guys. Time is of the essence. I know we're running late. 1, 2, Patrick. Okay. Bamboo Walk, you're present, right? That would be you? Okay. The first applicant is Bamboo Walk LLC, located at 1349 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. This is a renewal. It's for a full liquor license. The police report as follows. No incident at that location. Come, stand in front here, please. No incident at that no incident at that location. And the police reports are usually for a 12-month period, okay? Due to the time essence, the committee voted to approve this application. So I don't want to really entertain any questions, but I see the chair has given her the mic. Does you guys have any questions for this applicant? Please, can it be very brief? It's just a renewal. Seeing no question, I'll move on to the next application. Hype Brooklyn Hospitality, Inc. is located at 1308 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. This is a new license, and they're requesting a temporary retail permit. It's for a bar and tavern with this DJ, recorded music, live entertainment. The police report as follows. There's no incident at this location. Bear in mind, it's a new application. If there was an incident, it would not go to this owner because it's a new application. It would apply to the previous owner. Again, any quick question for this applicant? Hearing none, I'll move along. Oh, the committee voted to approve this application as well. Mr. Agard? Waterfall Lounge Bar and Grill LLC, located at 4703 Church Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. This is a new application with a request for a temporary retail permit. It's a bar and tavern with a full liquor license, recorded music, karaoke, live entertainment. Police report as follows. 4311 calls from 10/6/22 to 12/23. Bar open after hours, double park, cars, loud music. Like I said before, this does not apply to this new applicant. It's for the previous owner. The committee voted to approve this application. This mic. Are there any quick questions? Mr. Agard is representing this applicant. Hearing none, I'll move to the next one. K&L Manor Corp. located at 4501 Glenwood Road. This is a new application with a temporary retail permit request. Full liquor license. It's a catering facility, DJ recorded music, live music. The police report as follows. Homicide 6/10/2023, shooting, 4C summons, person drinking outside location, 7:30 to 7:31, 2023. 82 911 calls. Again, this is a new application, so this police report does not apply to the new owner. The Commerce Committee voted to approve this application. If there's no question, we can proceed with the vote. Sure. Go ahead. Yes. Correct. Yes. So a new applicant can be a new principal. Please, this mic is too bad. It can be a new principal. Once it's a new principal, it's a new application. Yes, I was told so last night at the Commerce meeting. Any other question? Go ahead. She just asked that same question, and the answer was no. Are you a board member, ma'am? Okay, sorry. Are there any other questions? Hearing none, can we proceed with the vote?
Thank you. And the committee voted concurrence and all voted yes.
Yes, oh yes.
So seeing that the committee has voted to approve the application of the 4 individuals, we're now, we're voting on the recommendation of the committee, right? Which is concurrence. With that being said, if you are voting yes to support the committee's vote, just simply say yes. If you need to, does anyone, no, yes to all 4, or you can pull our no. So the first one is Bamboo Walk. That's number 1. Number 2.
I think there's a question, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Chair.
Mr. Chair. Mm-hmm. That was the same question that was asked by Ms. Grandison and answered.
So the answer to your question is because it's a new applicant, that means that the ownership has changed hands. The principal, right? So therefore, it's a new owner, it's a new applicant.
Question? Yes.
Could you step to the, Ms. Viante, can you step to the mic?
So I also asked if there was any relationship between the two, and I was told no. So that's the answer. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's the answer we got.
All right, thank you.
I think he had, the first vice chair had a question.
Is the same question? That was his question. So
Okay.
number 1 is, just repeat, number 1.
Number 1 is Bamboo Walk, that's the
Number 2.
renewal. Number 2 is Hype Brooklyn Hospitality INC.
Number 3.
Waterfall Lounge Bar and Grill, number 3.
Number 4.
K&L Manor Corp.
Okay, so you can vote yes to all 4, or you can pull one out and vote no, or abstain, whichever one to vote, or recusal. First vice.
Kwame Apre. To all 4. Brandon Alfonso. Tiffany Anderson. Roland Antoine. And yes to the first three. Hassan Barkadine, Barrington Barrett, Celia Bellin, Teresa Barrington, Louis Brown, Asher Cunningham vote yes to the first three, and I abstain from the last. Roderick Daly,
Yes to all three. No.
Herminia Daniels. Yes. Yes to all four. Kayla, Natasha Duncan, Natalie Ferguson, Leonard Fenderson. What's your vote? Yes to all four. Perlene Fields, Allison French Kenton, Dr. Charles Galbraith.
Yes to the first three.
Thank you. Rose Graham. Gail Grandison. David Halan. Michael Hill. Thank you. Julia James. Thank you. Rhonda Joseph, Emerson Lazellery, Osney Lewis. Trisha Lewiston.
I'm sorry, we didn't hear.
Yes to all three. Thank you. Brandon, Edith Mark, Daniel McCabe. Yes to all four.
Sorry, got.
Austin Nalja, Khadija, sorry. Say that again. Thank you. I'm a school teacher, Mr. Daly. Montserrat Oni. Yes to all four. Rodney Pepper Siboney, June Prasad. Yes to all four. Janice Reed. Say that again, Ms. Reed. Thank you. Dr. Cal Renault. Okay. Yeah, Ms. Reed, you said no to the last one? Thank you. And Dr. Renault, you said no? Thank you. Aaron Roth, Menachem. Thank you. Antoinette Smart, Kamara Sabi. Simone Sylvester. George Tate. Yes to all four. Tamara Thomas, Hazeli. Yes to the first three, abstain to the last. Marguerite Vigilante. Abstain on the last. Jessica Welch. Abstain on the fourth. Kenrick Westcott. Ivor Wood. Ivor. Yes to all four. Thank you.
All right, while he tallied them up, let's move on to the next agenda item, which is legislative session. Let's start with people who are in the audience first. Mr. Robinson, I saw him. Are there any other legislator. Come on up. I'm saying, I'm looking up. I'm looking up. I'm looking up. Any other legislative persons, please come up, line up right there, right in there. All legislative individuals, please come up, line up one time.
Thank you.
Sorry, I did see you, but then you disappeared from me.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Severe. I'm representing the office of New York City Public Advocate Jemani D. Williams. Thank you for being here this late, and just want again to appreciate you all, everyone here and on Zoom, for just remaining committed to your community. That being said, I just want to kind of raise and flag again that one of the things that came up again several times here was the asylum seekers crisis. And I just want to let you all know that the public advocate has visited DC to ask for more federal funding, that as echoing basically what the Assembly woman said when she was here earlier. So we just want to again echo those comments that yes, we are prioritizing folks who are already here who need supports, but we are also, as she said, a sanctuary city, so we're trying to take care of new arrivals as well. And I know that's a kind of a strain on our entire system, but we are, again, seeking federal funding to make sure that anyone who comes here can get fed, housed, and their children educated. Also, want a big shout out to Happy Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur for folks, and also want to highlight again what was kind of said about the 6-7 and the community responders and CMS and violence interrupters to help us have a very safe Juve this year and a safe parade, which usually gets maligned in the media, but I think that we did a pretty good job this year, and I think that's pretty much it. All right, thank you all. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Severe. Everybody's clapping those briefings. Ms. Stevenson, my boss.
Hi.
How you doing, my boss?
Hi, Chair Daly. Good evening, everyone. I bring greetings from Borough President Antonio Reynoso to welcome you to the start of the new community board year, although session, even though it feels kind of late now. But I'm Bianca Stevenson. I'm the liaison for your community board. Hopefully everyone had an enjoyable summer and you're ready for this fall session of meetings. What do I have for you today? Borough President Reynoso, Councilmember Ressler, and the Brooklyn Energy Hub, they're sponsoring a Brooklyn Sustainable Building Resource Fair tomorrow. And that's at Borough Hall from 4 to 7 p.m. So if you're a property owner and you're considering greening your building and seeking guidance on compliance to Local Law 97, this is an excellent resource for you tomorrow. So you can come over tomorrow, learn about heat pumps, solar weatherization, HVAC lighting, electrification, and waste management for your building. Also get connected to financial incentives, including IRA incentives and financing to help you do the work of getting your building greener. If you know anyone, you can pass on that information. BP Reynoso also invites you to join us at Borough Hall Wednesday, September the 27th for Latino Heritage Celebration, and that's from 6 to 9 p.m. Everyone is welcome. The information is on the Borough President's website. And for the community board members, we just want to remind you about the fall workshops we have coming up for you. Some of you all probably got an email from me this week that September the 28th, that's affordable housing workshop. Then on the in October the 30th, we have the fair housing, and the 16th of November, Landmarks Preservation Commission. The workshops are all going to be virtual, no longer than an hour and 1.5 hours. And of course, it's to just give you the sort of information you need to be able to make your decisions, have the information you need to be able to vote yes or no. Chair Daly, I don't know if he knows this, but the Borough President is really trying to get people not to abstain, but to really vote on something yes or no, to just choose a position. So, having information is going to be able to help, everyone do that. And then please follow us, BP Reynoso, on social media. And for all residents of East Flatbush, the constituency services of our office will be holding, will be at the East Flatbush Library. So if you have any issues, like so many issues came up today, go on down on September the 25th, and our staff will be at the East Flatbush Library to take all your concerns and help advocate for you at the various city agencies. So that's it for me. Thank you very much, and see you next month.
Bianca, you didn't give your contact. I said I didn't hear it, yes.
My contact? Yes. Okay, so if you need to find me, my number is 718, direct number is 718-802-2059. And for the community board members, as I said, I did send an email this week, and all my contact information is there. My name is Bianca Stevenson, and I'm the board coordinator and the liaison for Community Board 17 and Community Board 9, the best districts in Brooklyn. Thank you.
Real brief. Hi, good evening, Community Board 17. My name is Saranda Purcell. I am the female district leader for the 43rd Assembly District, covering the communities of Crown Heights, East Flatbush, and Prospect Leftis Gardens. I'm going to be really brief, but one of my roles as district leader is to promote democracy, make sure people are registered to vote, get poll workers, and also scan candidates who are looking to become judges and judges who are looking to be elevated to Supreme. So yesterday was National Voter Registration Day. I did bring some registration forms in the back. You can use it to change your address, but if you know someone who's not registered, I encourage you to share the information with them. We do have an election coming up in November the 7th. It's a low turnout year, but I'm mentioning it because on the ballot, we're going to have a number of judges. And the reason I mention that, because I don't want anyone to go to the polls and not know who these people they're voting for are. So between now and Election Day, I'll be doing a series of Meet the Judges, candidates who are on the ballot, just so you have idea and know who these people are, and also create some communications to make sure that we are well informed, because this is a branch of government that impacts our daily lives and everything that we do in regards to law enforcement, in regards to public safety, and in regards to housing. You can't escape it. And my last announcement is, in regards to the polls, we want to promote young people to engage and work for the Board of Elections. So there's a program conducted by the Board of Elections. It's called, you Google the Students, Poll Worker, Vote NYC. And if the person turns 17 by the election date, they'll be able to get some work experience. We want to make sure we also provide young people opportunities to get jobs and, economic freedom and stability. And my final announcement that I would like to make, let me make sure I have it here. Let me see. Missing anything. I think that is it. So welcome back to the board. I know you guys in many capacities, and I look forward to seeing you at the upcoming meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, District Leader. Mr. Robinson, last but not least.
So on my way here this evening, I stopped at a bar. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dalton Robinson. I'm here representing Assembly Member Monique Chandler Waterman, who really wanted to be here this afternoon, but unfortunately she has to be out of town. Let me acknowledge the board and say welcome back to each and every one of us, ready to roll up our sleeves to get some good productive work done in the district, in the community, in the board, in the Assembly District and everything. Just 2 events I just want to mention. So many things have been said already. I can detail many of the things that have been said by elected officials that are representative in terms of our engagement in the past summer and the many things that have taken place in the community, Safe Juve, all of those type of stuff. The member has a few task force that we are actively engaged in outreach and community engagement. And that has lent some sort of support to the safety of some of the events that has taken place. On Saturday, 23rd, we'll be hosting our second Daniel's Day event. And if, just as a reminder, Daniel Prude was this young man in Rochester that due to his mental illness was actually quote unquote murdered by the police. And so for us to get some sort of mental health bill passed in Albany, we're having these events where many people who have that sort of experience will come, talk, and we see how best we can put some legislation together to protect those less fortunate among us. And on the 29th, we're having a shredding event For those people who live towards Brookdale side, Linden Boulevard, there's a shredding event on Linden Boulevard between Rockaway and Bristol Street. The members will begin our Vital Voice meeting again next month, the second Saturday of each month, where we will have, as I said, our task force, mental health, education, public safety, quality of life, small businesses, and we get resources and personnel to come out and actually talk to the community about these things. As I said, we continue, the member is continuing public engagement, outreach, the CBOs, to just share resources and information as to how we as a community can integrate and make sure we have the best of both worlds for ourselves. The members and staff took time out to visit school, to welcome students for the new school year and to provide some encouragement and support to them. I understand that tomorrow is Fathers Take Your Children to School Day. So those of you who are still fathers and you have your kids going to school, you should go out and support your child tomorrow. Our office is located at 903 Utica Avenue, 903 Utica Avenue between Church and Snyder. The telephone number 718-385-3336. If there's any issue that you think the assembly member can assist you with, please do not hesitate to call the office again. My name is Dalton Robinson, our district officer manager. Thank you. Have a blessed night.
All right, thank you very much. Just to also acknowledge Rhea Smith, she was online for Senator Parker's office, and there was somebody from Senator Prasad's office as well online. With that being said, are there any special reports by board members? Special reports by board members? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, JL. Before you speak, JL, the vote counts. Bamboo, the co-naming, 20 yeses, 0 noes, and 8 abstention. KNL, 9 yeses, 5 noes, the 8 abstention. All the others had 27 yeses and no noes. I just want to say something before JL speak, which is this. In the past, we were told that abstention plus noes can add up to a negative. And abstention is just that. So if the vote passes 3-2, it passes 3-2. All right? Or if it fails 3-2, it fails 3-2. Okay? So all of the voted items all passed. Okay?
A 30-second correction. The rezoning committee was adamant that the small businesses on Utica Avenue should be protected. So the rezoning of Utica Avenue only extends 3 or 4, not more than 4 blocks from East New York. I think it stops either at Clarkson or Lenox, but it does not go anywhere lower. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
That's because there's already huge developments going up at that area, so it would just make sense to just continue the development there.
Okay. Also, I just want to make sure that please note that if we missed a comment from anyone, unfinished business. Okay, if we missed any comment from anyone, please call the board office, 718-434-3072. Or you can send me an email personally at cb17chairperson@gmail.com, right? We don't want anybody to feel like their comments not being heard, but we also have to bear everything else in mind. I just want to just double check anything online before I close up. I hear somebody speaking. What was that? Senator Myri's office. Okay. And Councilmember Rita Joseph office. Is that comments? Rosalind? No, I see Rosalind. Go ahead, Rosalind. And then who is from Senator Myri's office? Oh, Camille, one right above.
It's me. My name
Okay.
is Camille.
Go ahead, Rosalind. And then Camille.
Good evening, everyone. Just bringing greetings on behalf of the Office of Councilmember Rita Joseph. And we can't wait to continue on with this the remainder of the year and to continue to support the community. And we could be contacted at 718-287-8762 for any services or questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Camille and then Alex.
Everyone, my name is Camille. I'm Senator Myri's Constituent Services Manager. Just have a few updates for everyone tonight. Our office has COVID tests and KN95 masks available at our office. If you're an organization and would like a bulk supply, please just email us. You can email our district director, Portia Edwards at pedwards@nysenate.gov, or just call the office. I'll give that number at the end. Or if you're just an individual looking for supplies, you can just stop by whenever our office is open, which is 10 to 6, Monday through Friday. We passed our historic clean slate legislation this past summer at the end of session, which will automatically seal certain past conviction records. And while we are preparing for the governor to sign this law, the coalition of organizations that advocated for the bill will be holding some public sessions to understand what this legislation does, and if you may be eligible if you've had a past conviction. These are happening on October 16th, November 20th, and December 18th. I know there's been a lot of talk about the crisis with our asylum seekers in the city. So I just wanted to flag for everybody that Senator Myri wrote an op-ed last week for the New York Daily News where he has proposed a citywide work authorization seeker system for our asylum seekers while we are waiting for the federal action to take place. So if you'd like, you can read more about that in the Daily News or in Gothamist, where it was also covered. Lastly, we have constituent services available Monday through Thursday by appointment only. You can call our office to set up those appointments, and we have affordable housing services available with CUF every Wednesday. Our office number is 718-284-4700. And you can reach me at Barbin, BARBIN, @nysenate.gov. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you so much. All right. Is that it? Just to point out, Rhea Thomas, just to remind us that the weed shop conversation will be taken up with Senator Parker. He's having an event at Mega Everts Saturday, the 23rd from 12 to 6. For our coming event, Saturday, the 23rd from 10 to 4 at Mega Everts Expo, and then the same date, National Sickle Cell Awareness at Vanderveer Park, United Methodist Church. So 2 events for Senator Parker's office. With that being said.
And Senator Prasad's office, please.
I'm sorry, who's that?
Senator Prasad's office, Alex.
Who's that? I'm sorry. Alex? Oh,
Yeah.
Go ahead. Oh, I had called on you before.
Yes, I was waiting for
Go
that.
ahead. Go ahead, Alex.
Thank you. One moment. Hold on 1 second. Good evening, everybody. My name is Alex. I'm representing the office of Senator Roxanne Prasad. Sadly, the senator could not make it. She's very active in the community, but she's currently not within the state. The senator just wants me to let everyone know that in regards to the smoke shops, the illegal smoke shops, she is currently working with every agency and every organization to help rectify these matters and make sure that your concerns are being addressed. I know we have a number of schools in particular with concerns with smoke shops right across the school from the street, which there aren't supposed to be any selling weed illegally. And the senator has been working very effortlessly with both the schools and the NYPD to make sure that this isn't happening. But this is also imperative for you guys as the community to do your part in making sure that your voices are being heard and you're bringing awareness to your council members and your other representatives as well. I also want to remind everyone that we're in the middle of a housing crisis. So because of this, Senator Prasad will be hosting a housing resource fair where we would have a number of organizations such as HPD on this Saturday at Canarsie High School, who will be providing programming for housing assistance, utility assistance, and every program adjacent. And this is not only for tenants, this event is also for landlords as well. So please make sure you come out. And just very briefly, I am a constituent liaison with the senator's office. So there was a lot of concerns about parking, illegal registration, and such like and stuff of those sorts. Although we don't get involved with legal matters per se, you could always reach out to our office so we can help rectify and contact the appropriate agencies and flag your 311 cases to make sure these vehicles are being addressed by either the NYPD or Department of Sanitation. Thank you so much all and have a great evening.
Thank you, Alex, for that. Thank you. With that being said, we're coming on to the final 2 or 3 items. One, just to remind, hopefully people can make it out to the forum that the community board is co-sponsoring with CEC, also with the job posting. Congratulations to all those people getting voted on. And lastly, we do have a wing of the CB17, Friends of CB17. And so if anyone, we're looking to do different things. So if you have some suggestions that you want with the Friends of CB17, which is the organization that can help to raise money for the board, so people can help with donations and the likes, please do send me an email or where did she go? Chair Prasad in the back to find out about how we can assist. If you have organizations that can donate money to governmental agencies that want to give money to the board that's willing to help out, this is an opportunity to do that so we can do different things. It's one thing to talk about things, but it's another thing to do the walk along with that. So again, thank you so much for coming out this evening. Is there any unfinished business that I might have missed? Seeing none, any new business? I did just say that about the board and the CB. With that being said, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody at our next meeting, which is I believe is October 18th, is our next board meeting, right here, same location. For each and every one of you, please do enjoy, and I believe we doing Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, so in celebration, please make sure that we recognize that as well. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Motion made by Ms. Marguerite Viante. Can I get anybody to second? Let's use voice. Just one voice. State your name and voice. Kamara Swavey seconds it. All right, I saw like 3 hands, but 1 voice spoke. Thank you so much. We stand adjourned.
But that's federal. No one. But because you know so, because you know. I came to come by. So because you know why? Because you know why? Because nobody's advocating for that over there. To who? Well, let's put it this way. To who? When he was. But he's supposed to be. No, that was